evening. Good night, lovely people. How y'all doing? Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. I told y'all we were gonna be here tonight, and here we are. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, I told y'all that I was gonna come back tonight because I cannot read that book by myself. I'm not going to stay. I'm not gonna stay in the background and read this book by myself. Oh boy. But good evening. Yeah, I don't know where that piece of. Anywho. But good evening, everybody. Come on in, lovely people. Come on in. I told you all I was gonna be here around about this time this evening as we continue the reading of this book here. Lethal Seduction. We started reading this book yesterday. Those of you who have been with me, oh shoops. My bad. Well, good evening, guys. Good evening. Welcome into the live. Thank you all so much for stopping in. Thank you all so much for stopping by. It is the day before New Year's Eve, and I know a lot of you are getting ready for New Year's Eve. You are doing this, that, the other, and the third. But for those of us who don't have no big plans and we don't have anybody to prepare for. Oh, yeah, welcome. Leave me alone now. Leave me alone now. May I welcome Uno. All of Uno, may I welcome who are coming into the chat, because last night, Matana said tonight we were going to come back and continue with the reading of this book that we started last night. Yeah. And I see me keep my words. Uno, don't bet pan it, okay? Right? Juggy, so because of you make me come now. Oh, that not sound too right, but but I mean, I am back, ready to continue. Such a feel like Gateway, tired of the boring thing, want some excitement. Behave yourself, Juggies. Behave yourself. All right? Behave yourself. Listen. God, so me tell every man the same thing. God, I can't work with you, You're supposed to be on my side. You can't be selling me out like this. Come on now. You gotta be on my side, sis. Liebert, I ain't seen you in a hot minute. How you been? Eh? Oh, you not flop you today. Yeah, me card. You can't flop Juggies today. Grant, what's up? How you doing? I haven't seen you in a good minute. Yeah, take your Juggies. I'm taking one and run, brother. You say I'm taking one and run. What you gonna do, Grant? You gonna take your one and stay? Oh Lord, what's going on with you, Grant? A long time I didn't see you, and a long for see me. Leaper said, season's greetings to you and your family. I appreciate you, Leaper. I hope you are having a great holiday. The holiday isn't quite over yet until after the new year. I hope everything is going well for you, my love. Swift one, bless up a nice clean self. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Welcome into the live. Me know what tickle you know. You see how that too big, what's up? Yeah, man. You see, like how the book I open up like it have legs. Miss B. I I saw the presenting yourself at thy table, oh Lord. Ready to hear what else this book got to say. Royal, what's up? Ready to hear what else is in the book. Thank you so much, Liebert. I hope you have a great birthday too. Birthday's New Year is coming up the day after tomorrow. Yeah, for me it's just gonna be another day. Like, just another day. Like, life is just going on. And we are getting closer to our death. So, Royal, dinner? Dinner? I just got home from work, honey. No dinner. Yeah, I just got home from work. I'm not doing no cooking tonight. I come home from work and do not a cooking. When I'm finished here, I gotta put some oatmeal and chia seeds to soak for my lunch tomorrow. And that's that. No cooking, my love. No cooking. But good night, everybody. Everybody who's here, welcome. Thank you all so much for coming in. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is your girl, Trev from Trevessence. If you are seeing me right now, you're at the right place at the right time. Tonight, we are going to continue with the reading of this book, Lethal Seduction, that we started last night. Got everybody's it got everybody's skin crawling. Is it crawling or tickling? Where's the Andrew? Oatmeal and chia seeds. Yes. And then in the morning I drop some blueberries and frozen blueberries and strawberries on it, and that's it. That will be my lunch for tomorrow. Where's the dinner should be waiting on me? Tony, what's up? Yeah, say, where's what night nurse? I want a nurse, yo. But listen, you people don't, listen. Y'all are drawing me out. Y'all are taking me out of character. Oh, yes, see, me know say that something like that I gonna say no to it. Me know something like that I gonna say no. Man, at a nursing mood. I'm come off of the job at a nursing time. Different kind of business, right, Card? You said me they have somebody I would have dinner waiting. Well, me never have them luxury there to come home and there is dinner waiting for me. Like, where them luxury they come from? When I see people on the internet showing off them something, then me just look and smile. Me have them luxury there. Me better come home, come cook me one food. Or else dog me and me supper. Does you feel like it? Tired and a boring thing. You see last night, no worry. What you say? You go drive south? Nobody with it. Nobody with it. Okay. Alright. I whisper. Don't make me talk loud. Anytime I talk loud, you have to afraid. Okay. And last night when we were reading, I see how Madison sheep here leg them fly open fast for the man and she have her husband. I see, I know something named Marianne. Okay? I know Marianne, she named Madison. Me name Madison. So Madison skin a catch a fire for the man. And while she get excited over the man I remind her say, you are a married woman. There's something that must make you feel cool. And she did a plan to get rid of her husband, hoping that she can snag this man. This man would be really, really stupid. He would be really, really crazy to abandon all that he knows, all that he cares about for this woman who is currently cheating on her husband with him. So what do you think she's going to do when she's with him? She's going to find somebody else and cheat too. Never a good thing. Never a good thing. Yeah. So, let me tell you something. I'm anxious to read the book because I want to see what is going to become of her in the story, considering that she is diligently plotting the demise of her husband, while her husband is there saying, you want me to do royal boy mix up time? Yeah. Yeah. Her husband is there saying, what more do you want me to do? What else do you want? You tell me to do X, I do it to make you happy. You tell me do Y, I do it to make you happy. Now you're still not happy. What else you want me to do? We never find ourselves in them situation there yet. When somebody not want it, them just not want it, It no matter what you do, don't matter what you say, you cannot try to be the best person for them. They will take what you give them. They will take what you do for them, but they still do not want you. End of story. Anytime you see you with somebody, they start show your bad face, and them start to show you signs that they no longer want to be with you. Don't stop from shub water over ale. You understand? That is it. Don't try to convince them to reverse their thoughts and to change their mind, because all you're doing is inviting more misery on you. Once you start showing your signs to them don't want you, hurry up and make them go on, because the sooner they go, the quicker you will get to recover. The longer you make it drawn out, the more pain, the more heartache, and then the longer it's going to take you to recover. So don't take it from me. Don't make nobody fool, no. May I continue? Ralston, what's up? May I continue the reading of this book? I'm not giving you a lecture because I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. So, I don't need to give you no lecture for telling you how to conduct on yourself. Because when somebody don't want it, them just don't want it. It's as simple as that. I don't need glasses to see. You don't need no glasses to see when somebody don't want you. End of story. Yeah, when I time to beat up my chest to tell you no. Yeah, when no come here, come cry. I cry with you know. Because you did cry with me. So I cry with you know. And then I go about my business. Just like you did go about phone. No. But anyway. Anyway, we are going to continue with the reading of the book. Those of you who were here last night, I hope you all had enjoyed the reading. So tonight we are going to continue with this book, Lethal Seduction. We are on to chapter, which chapter this? Chapter 8 or chapter 6? I don't even know. I didn't write the number with a funny thing here. So hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me see. Which chapter this? Oh, look, that's serious. I did. So, chapter 8. You wasn't here last night. Boy, you don't know what you missed. You're going to have to catch up. You're going to have to catch up on the story. Because if you were not here last night, you missed out on the beginning part of the story. But anyway, it will be easy for you to catch on. Okay? So we are going to start the reading. You have anything else you want to tell me? Before I start the reading, I don't want no disturbance. Okay? No disturbance and no distraction. All right. Chapter 8 of Lethal Seduction. I hope you're thinking about babies, Martha Cochran just said, her round cheeks flushed and rosy. What? Rosita said, as Martha trailed her around the ground floor of Saks. Babies, Martha repeated with a coy chuckle. Little ones. A confidential whisper. Dick wants 3, you know. How many times do I have to tell you? He's not called Dick anymore, Rosarita said irritably. And while we're on the subject, how could you stick him with a name like Dick when your surname is Cochranger? Dick was his grandfather's name, Martha said, managing to look hurt. He never should have changed it. His daddy is still upset. Oh, Christ, Rosarita thought. What am I doing here? This unsophisticated dolt simply doesn't get it. I'm not planning on becoming pregnant anytime soon, she said, putting what she hoped was an end to that discussion. You are not? Martha said, disappointed. Definitely not, Rosarita said, dragging her mother-in-law over to the accessory section and quickly pulling a long chiffon armoire scarf out of her hand. What do you think of this? She asked. It's lovely, Martha exclaimed. I'll buy it for you, Rosarita said, waving her Saks charge card at a salesperson. I can't let you do that, Martha objected. Why not? Rosarita said airily. Dexter will pay. Please, no, Martha said, getting all flustered. I can't have him spending his hard-earned money on me. He works so hard, and this scarf is... Her voice rose in horror as she took a peek at the price tag. $350? Ha! Rosarita thought. Works hard. He goes in early, has makeup slapped on his face, sits around with a bunch of mediocre actors, then comes home. What's so hard about that? Instead, she nodded understandingly. I know. It must be tough for him. Yes, Martha. Yes, it is. But at least he has you to come home to. Another confidential whisper. He adores you, dear. You should see the letters he writes us. He writes you letters? Rosarita said in surprise. Hey, P, good night. What's up? Michibu, what's up? Once a week, we get a handwritten letter from him telling us all about your exciting life together. What does he say? He tells us about the places you go to dinner, what you wear, the meals you eat. I love to hear all the details, and he knows it. A happy sigh. He's such a good son. I'm sure, Rosarita muttered. Good and boring, and he won't give me a divorce. It'll be the death of him. The morning he appeared on Regis and see where we upon Regis and Kathy Lee. The morning he appeared on Regis and Kathy Lee was the most exciting day of my life, Martha confided dreamily. Kathy Lee is my favorite, you know. Such a delightful woman. I don't believe a word about those nasty sweatshops. It's all lies. He wasn't on show by himself, Rosarita pointed out. He was there with the rest of the cast, and he only appeared at the end of the program. It was actually an interview with the witch who plays the lead. Silver Anderson, right? Martha said. Such a lady. I'm hoping Dexter will take us to the studio one day to meet her. Things are going on. I'm sure he will, Rosarita said, bored with this conversation. What night are we seeing that lovely daddy of yours? Martha inquired, flinging the chiffon scarf around her neck and parading in front of a mirror. I'll call him later, Rosarita said, spotting a girlfriend of hers in the distance. Quick as a flash, she pulled Martha around to the other side of the counter. She couldn't be seen with her. It was far too humiliating. You see that? She done already tell the people them say she left her husband, you know. And now for her to be out shopping with her husband mother, she hide from her friend them. You see how people wicked? Okay. Now you're still there with your husband, you know, divorce your husband, you know. So why you afraid for your friend to see you with your husband's mother? But let us continue. I guess the story is living up to its name. When are you starting a family, son? Matt Cochran just said as he lifted weights in Dexter's makeshift gym. Dunno, Dexter mumbled, busy on the rowing machine. Clearing his throat, Matt lowered his voice. I shouldn't be telling you this, but when I married your mother, she was already pregnant with your older sister. She was? Dexter said, quite shocked at this intimate revelation. She'd kill me if she thought I told you, Matt said, looking around to make sure that Martha was not about to suddenly appear. The secret, the secret is to start early. So what if you don't think Rosarita might be pregnant? I don't know. Thanks, Dad, Dexter said, hoping to shut him up. Matt had no intentions of shutting up. No point in waiting, he said. Knock her up, boy. That's what you've got to do. Dad, Dexter said, shaking his head. Where did you learn phrases like knock her up? I was quite a ladies' man in my time, Matt said with a boastful chuckle. Handsome like you, captain of the football team, and my Martha was the prettiest girl in school. All the fellows were after her. They were? Dexter asked, eyebrows raising at the thought of his dear old mom might have once been a sex magnet. Yes, indeed, Matt said, moving over to the life cycle. But I know she was the one for me as soon as I met her. Really? Dexter said. Oh, yes, Matt said, nodding to himself. She wouldn't let anyone else near her except me. So how come she be pregnant? But anyway, let us continue. Had to wait weeks before she'd give me so much as a goodnight kiss. What a girl. To this day, I'm the only man she has ever had. Hold on, something missing right there, so. But we'll go and continue and see if we figure it out. You are telling me too many details, Dad, Dexter said nervously. I know what I'm talking about, son. You have got to knock your wife up. Keep them in their place. You hear the misogyny? Don't hear it. Right, Dexter said, thinking that nothing would keep Rosarita in her place. Has she been getting uppity with you lately? Matt asked. Why would you ask that? I was in the kitchen last night and I heard shouting coming from your bedroom. Now, not that I'd ever intervene, but you didn't tell Mom, did you? No, Matt said. Wouldn't do to upset her. Don't. Please, Dad, don't. She'd hate to think we were fighting. What were you fighting about? I want to start a family, Dexter mumbled. Rosarita doesn't. Is she a pale son? Matt asked. This dad is so nosy. What? All in the... This one a sound too right? Cause him said she was pregnant before he married her. Oh, maybe I him get her pregnant. I don't know, but we're gonna continue reading. See if we figure it out. Is she on the pill, son? Matt asked, slowing down. Dexter shook his head, sweat beading down his brow. What does she use? Matt asked. One of those rubber diaphragm things. Dexter nodded, embarrassed to be discussing to be discussing such a personal subject with his dad. I tell you what to do, Matt said, stopping his machine, and you'd better listen to me, 'cause I'm wiser than you, not more famous, but older and wiser. Yes, Dad, Dexter said, resigned to the fact that there was no stopping him. You take a pin, find her diaphragm, but you know hear this? You take a pin, find her diaphragm, and prick a few little holes in it. She'll never know you have done it, and before long, she'll be pregnant. After that, things will be fine. Take it from me, son. Once you have had a baby, they calm down. I saw it got that be. Yeah, the father encouraging his son to do something so wicked and cruel. Why am I do it? See, enough make them thoughts here coming down the head, you know. You mustn't entertain these thoughts because this is heights of wickedness. Your wife don't want children and you want children. Leave her and go find somebody who will want children. That's how me see it. Yeah, simple as that. Life is too short to be burdened down with what should have been or what could have been. Yeah. Yeah, you're born come with nobody's name on you. Yeah, nobody came down here specifically for any one particular person. So if you want kids and your wife do not want kids, all right. Keep moving. There are lots of people on earth. You can find a woman to have your children. And when she's ready to have children, she will find a man to have her children. And if she never wants to have children, she could find a man who does not want to have children either. But they can't turn around and be so diabolical now. You're the father telling him to punch holes in the woman's diaphragm so she can't get pregnant. What wickedness. But anyway, I know so, Matt said, nodding. He's the voice of experience, son. Matt Cochranger knows what he's talking about. Back at the apartment, Rosarita escaped to the bedroom, locked the door, and sat staring at the phone. Should she call him or shouldn't she? She was ready for action with a vengeance, and Joel was certainly the man to give it to her. But there was no way she could see him over the weekend, not with the Cochrangers on her case every single minute. Damn! She wanted him more than she had ever wanted anyone, and Rosarita always got what she wanted. On impulse, she picked up the phone and got through to Chaz. You know that little favor I asked you to do? She said, picking at her nail polish, a nervous habit she couldn't shake. Ha ha, Chaz said. Some little goddamn favor, huh? I want to talk to you about that. Anyway, she said casually, put it on hold. Her parents are in town. Dexter's mom and dad? Yes, they're here from New York, staying with us, which brings me to favor number 2. And what's that? Chaz said sourly. You want a show arranged that whack the whole family? Oh my goodness. You want me to arrange for you to whack the whole family? Ha ha, funny, Rosarita said. What do you want? Chaz said, thoroughly steamed at his unpredictable daughter. Dad, she said, reverting to little girl tactics. Don't be so mean. Dexter's stupid parents are here, and I've got to entertain them. They're dying to see you. Can we all have dinner tonight? No way, Chaz growled. I got a hot date. You can bring your date, Rosarita said persuasively. It doesn't make any difference to me. The last time you was in the company of one of my dates, you ended up calling her a cheap whore to her face. I did, Rosarita said innocently, remembering the incident well. Yeah, and that kind of behavior I don't appreciate, considering me and the broad was in the middle of a very cozy relationship. You were? Don't go playing innocent tootsie with me, Chaz said. You know what you did. My lady friend ran out on me so fast she forgot her panties. Lucky you, Rosarita said with a wicked laugh. You can parade around wearing them. You're getting to be a real smart mouth, Chaz said angrily. Rosarita changed tactics again. Anyway, she said as sweetly as she could. How about if we all come to dinner at your house? You've got a cook who sits around doing nothing all day. Please, Daddy, please. Jeez, Chaz grumbled. This is all I freaking needed. What's their names? Ship Rangers? No, Daddy, she said patiently. Cock Rangers. What kind of name is that anyway? At least Dex was smart enough to change it, Rosarita said with a wild giggle. Can you imagine if I was Mrs. Cockranger? Yeah, Chaz thought. You would have gotten the name you deserve. The moment Chaz got off the phone with Rosarita, he phoned his other daughter. Hello, Daddy, Venice said. How are you? Venice always had a happy face and a kind word, not to mention two adorable small kids and a pleasant low-key husband, whom was not nagging Charles to dispose of. Now, how you doing, baby doll? He said, happy to speak to her. We are all fine. Thank you, Daddy. Glad to hear it. I was thinking of bringing the children over tomorrow. Would that be okay with you? Sure, I want to see them. But I also want to see you. And he hesitated for a moment, never quite certain of Venice's husband's name. Eddie, she reminded. Yeah, I know. Eddie, for Christ's sakes. I want you and Eddie to come for dinner tomorrow at my house. Hold on, the people. Okay. Rosarita's in-laws are in town. Martha and Matt, Venice said. I remember them from the wedding. They're really nice people. I'm glad somebody remembers them. What time shall we be there, Daddy? Around 7:30-ish. Should Eddie wear a tie? Yeah, that's a good idea. He hesitated again. Venice was his sensitive daughter. He didn't want to shock or surprise her. Hon, is it okay with you if I got a date? It won't upset you or anything, would it? Why on earth would it upset me, Daddy? I know how much you loved Mommy, which is why you never got remarried. I'm happy you have a date. I'm sure if she's with you, she must be someone special. Yeah, honey, she is. She really is. What does she do? Chaz fumbled for a moment. She's a nurse, he finally said, trying to decide how he was going to tell his current stripper girlfriend that she had to pretend to be a nurse for the night. Oh, so his girlfriend is a stripper. And how was he going to get her to hide those huge silicone jugs? Jesus, problems after problems, but nothing he couldn't deal with. See you later, kiddo, he said and hung up. Dexter felt like a criminal. He had done as his father had advised him. Wanna hear this? Wanna hear this? He had located Rosarita's diaphragm, which he had found conveniently stashed in her bathroom cabinet, and poked a few minuscule holes in it. Doing such a thing had made him feel bad about himself. Was it right to trick her? On the one hand, Jesus, my God. Was it right to trick her? On the other hand, was it right that she wanted a divorce after only 18 months and what he considered a pretty good marriage? Since their argument last night, Rosarita was behaving. She had taken his mother shopping and bought her a beautiful scarf. She had actually sat down and had a conversation with his father about a Clint Eastwood movie they had both been seen and liked. They had both seen and liked. Then she had informed them that she had organized dinner at Chaz's house. The Cockrangers were duly pleased. What shall I wear? Martha repeated over and over again, fussing. Don't worry about it, Matt said, winking at his son. Let's leave the two lovebirds alone. I suggest we all take an afternoon nap. Dexter knew exactly what his dad had in mind. After his parents retired to the guest room, he followed Rosarita into the bedroom, shutting the door behind them. Good idea, he said. What's a good idea? She said, taking a nap before we go to Chaz tonight. You'd had a tough day, haven't you? I know it's not easy taking my mom shopping. She doesn't make quick decisions just like you. Is that a dig? Rosarita asked suspiciously. No, what I mean is you're an excellent shopper. I remember when we went to Bloomingdale's and you bought me some shirts. It was like wham bam. You choose right and they looked great. I still wear them. Why are you being so nice to me? She asked, regarding him with narrowed eyes. Because I love you. Rosarita sat down on the edge of the bed. Love's not what makes the world go around, Dexter, she said. Sorry about that. You look beautiful today, he said. I do, she replied, enjoying the compliment. She had never told him about her various plastic surgeries. Oh, so he was under the impression she was a natural beauty. God, she had better tear up all her old photos. It wouldn't do to get busted. It wouldn't do any good for Rosarita to get busted. Oh, Lord. Her previous face was a horror. Jesus Christ. Dexter walked over and stood in front of her. His belt buckle was at her eye level, and she couldn't help noticing that he had the beginnings of a hard-on. You're just a raving sex magnet, she thought to herself. As soon as anyone gets near you, it's let's go, mama. Idly she wondered if she should teach Dexter a few things or two before bowing out of this marriage. He certainly had the most gorgeous body, and his cock wasn't bad either. Of course, he wasn't Joel, but maybe while she was waiting for Matt and Martha to leave town, she could teach him a thing or two. Brilliant red nails sprang into action as her hands snaked forward, preparing to pull down his zipper. Me not read no more. Right, this. God, what you eat? You sit down. You sit down there. You sit down there getting ready. Getting ready for hear what's gonna happen. Asking have your teeth. Yes. No, sir, I don't think me read no more of this. No, sir, I don't think so. Mm-mm-mm. All right, all right. Me, junkies, me can't read. Me can't read no more. It's just too raunchy, man. Damn. His thing popped out immediately. One of the advantages of wearing no underwear. Oh, little Dixie's looking good today, she crooned, putting on her I'm ready for sex voice. He picked up the remote and activated the drapes, closing them. Not exactly Joel's style, Rosarita thought, because remember, I said Joel did chore down in the back of the car. Remember, I said Joel did chore down in the back of the car like a piece of carpet. And all of the homeless people there. All of the homeless people there was at the show when Joel fling her down in the back of the car. Remember? Like piece of dirty rug. But anyway, let us continue. Okay, let us continue. Not exactly Joey's style, Rosarita thought. Joel was interested in people watching his sexual antics, which was a major turn on. She gave Dex a little lick to encourage him, then jumped up. I'll be right back, she said, hurrying into the bathroom. He walked over, locked the bedroom door, removed his clothes, and lay back in bed waiting. He wondered if he had noticed the damage. He wondered if she had noticed the damage he had done to her diaphragm and emerged from the bathroom screaming with fury. How could she possibly notice it? The holes he had made were tiny, just big enough for those pesky little sperms to fight their way through. It was a sneaky thing to do, but she hadn't given him any choice. And when they had their first child, a healthy, bouncy baby boy, she'll thank him. Oh, yes, she certainly would. Dexter was sure of it. I hope. I trap him, I try trap her, you know. A only woman me know always do them. Me always hear of women doing this kind of foolishness. But to think that a man is thinking of trapping a woman who wants to leave out of the marriage, them something normal. And you see, his father give him that idea. In big old great one father give him that idea. to trap his wife. But I hope she pulls the diaphragm like this and look in it before she insert it. Cause you can't see the hole them in it. Man don't have time. Man don't have time for waste. Excuse me. Yeah. I hope she finds out. I hope she finds out and give him a good thrashing. But let us continue. Now here's the deal, Michael said, his worldly green eyes fixed firmly on his daughter's face. Deal? Madison had no idea what he was talking about. She was already upset enough. She didn't need to hear anything else. They were sitting in the restaurant of the Palacia Plaza Hotel. She had ordered a mimosa to drink and eggs very easy with bacon and sausage to eat. Now the food sat on a plate in front of her, abandoned because she couldn't touch a thing, and the mimosa was already finished. Yes, Michael, she said, staring back at him, her green eyes alert. He was on his second cup of coffee. For the first time she noticed he had dark shadows under his eyes and tiny flecks of gray in his jet black hair. Was her handsome father finally getting old? No, not Michael. It was impossible. I never thought I'd tell you this, he said, his voice serious enough to match his expression. Somehow, it didn't seem necessary. But now that Stella's taken this step, you should know the truth. The truth about what? Madison asked, wishing that this wasn't happening. About you and me, he said steadily. About our family. She felt queasy. Something bad was going to come out of his mouth, something she didn't want to hear. You know, sweetheart, I've always loved you, and I always will, he said. You are very, very precious to me. In a rush, it came to her. Oh, God. Was he about to tell her she was adopted? So that's why she had had to call him Stella, to call them Stella and Michael all these years. That's why they'd never wanted to be called mommy and daddy like normal parents. Of course, it all made sense now. Her stomach lurched. Her hands were clammy. She felt sick and faint at the same time. This was so bad. The last thing she'd expected. Pull yourself together, she told herself sternly. Get a grip and listen to what he has to say. Yes, she said blankly. Spit it out fast, Michael, because I cannot stand the suspense. He gave a long, drawn-out sigh. That isn't easy, he said, tapping his index finger on the table. You think it's easy for me? She wanted to yell. You're about to tell me I'm adopted, and you're sitting there telling me it's not easy. Screw you! Screw you, Michael! I hate this. Here's the thing, he said, his eyes still fixed firmly on hers. Stella, she's not your mother. No big surprise there. She waited patiently for him to add, and I'm not your father, but rest assured that we desperately wanted you. In fact, we chose you. Picked you out. Isn't that the kind of crap adoptive parents usually come up with? So you adopted me, she said, barely able to get the words out. Oh, Joseph, that's you. Good night, Joseph. No, he said, vigorously shaking his head. I'm your father, your real father. This was all so weird. You are? She murmured faintly. You bet I am. I never would have abandoned you. Never. I I don't understand. Let me try to explain, he said, taking a gulp of his coffee to fortify himself. I I was a single guy. I had a girlfriend named Gloria. Well, Gloria and me, we were cosmic twins Inseparable. We grew up together, did everything together. Eventually, we made a baby together. Now her world was really spinning. He was telling her that Stella wasn't her mother. How could that be? A long pause before he continued. That baby was you, sweetheart. That baby was you. Me? She said blankly. I was involved in something at the time that wasn't exactly legitimate. It was a mess. And when you were 6 months old, the people I was dealing with decided they had to punish me. Punish you? Madison said, frowning. For what? Ignoring her question, he continued with his story. The deal was this. Either I gave them what they wanted or they'd take away my family. I didn't believe them. Besides, I had both of you well protected. Anyway, one day Gloria managed to get out of the house without anyone knowing. She wanted to buy me a birthday gift. That's when they shot her. Who shot her? It's too complicated to get into now, my love. It was a long time ago, 29 years ago. They killed her. The bastards killed her. Oh, God, Madison cried. Truth is, Michael said, I've never gotten over it, and Stella knew it. Madison felt like she was in the middle of some insane soap opera as she listened to his story. Everything she knew was crumbling around her. Stella, the beautiful Marilyn Monroe-like Stella, was not her mother. And who in the world was Gloria? She wanted to see a picture, find out everything about her. She had to know what happened when Gloria was shot. Did she die immediately, or was she injured? Oh, God! So many questions! And who was going to give her the answers? Her mind was racing in a million different directions, and at the same time, she was sick to her stomach and totally lost. I'm peeping for see who is here. Welcome, guys. All right, let us continue. See, I'm not sitting. A year later, I met Stella, who was everything Gloria wasn't. Michael continued. When we started talking about marriage, I gave her the conditions. If I married her, she had to become your mother in every way, and no more kids. You were it. She agreed. But I know she was never there for you. She was never there the way. But I know she was never there for you the way Gloria would have been. He shrugged hopelessly. What could I do? And now his voice hardened. The bitch has betrayed me. And believe me, as far as I am concerned, she's dead. All of a sudden, Madison had a blinding headache. Maybe it was the mixture of champagne and orange juice. Maybe it was simply staring at this man whom she now realized she didn't know at all. For God's sake, was this her life? All these years, had she been living a lie? I, I have to go home. I have to go home and digest this, she managed to say, standing up. Don't run away from me, Michael implored, grabbing her hand. I need you, sweetheart. I've always needed you. Maybe you do, she said, feeling a sharp pain burning within her. But this is too much of a shock for me right now, and I have to deal with it all on my own. Pulling her hand away from his, she stood up and hurried from the restaurant. Outside on the street, everything seemed different. She didn't know what to do or where to turn. All she really wanted to do was burst out crying. Why do you want to cry? A little voice within her kept asking. Because I don't know what I am anymore. Really? That might be a blessing. Might be a blessing. Don't see it as a curse. Jamie and Peter spent almost the entire day cruising around Barney's. After one of Peter's drinking bouts, he got a strong attack of the gills, and to assuage them, he spent freely. Jamie took Jamie took advantage of every moment. She charged boots, jewelry, shoes, sweaters, and a long blue cashmere coat, which, when she snuggled into it, made her look like a blonde Russian princess. You do know you are the most gorgeous girl in New York, right? Peter told her admiringly. And I'm the luckiest man alive to be married to you. Jamie smiled. Why had she ever suspected him? He was the best, and they had the greatest marriage. Just because he had gone off just because he had gone off sex for a few weeks didn't mean there was another woman. Plus, last night he had made it up to her. And how? No, no, no. There was obviously no reason for her to meet with Madison's detective. Peter was 100% a loyal and loving husband. He had proved it to her today. But him drunk. And I prove it to her. He's drunk. And because he's drunk, he's taking out a credit card to spend, and she took advantage. She charged boots, she charged shoes, she charged bags, she jewelry. And then she says he was nice to her today. Okay, when he get back sober and realize the credit card bill is now they're gonna be a problem. They left Barney's at last, both of them loaded down with packages. Madison said something about meeting us later, Peter said as they stood curbside, searching for a cab. Is your phone on? Jamie asked. Of course it is, he said, patting his pocket. Then she must have got tied up. About time, Peter said with a dirty chuckle. Hasn't it been rather a long, dry spell? You know Madison, Jamie said airily. She's very particular about the guys she gets involved with, especially after David. I liked David, Peter remarked. How can you say that? Jamie said. It's so disloyal. I told you I had dinner with him and his wife one night when you were in Boston with Anton, didn't I? No, you didn't tell me that. Well, I meant to. How could you, Peter? That's so disloyal. He kept on calling me, and I had nothing else to do. So we went to Elaine's. What's his wife like? Well, she's blonde. She's got a big overbite, enormous tits. Real, I think. Ha! Jamie scoffed. You guys always think they're real. Those kinds of girls never have real tits. They're man-made for sure. You are being bitchy, sweetie. No, I'm not. Look, she said, frantically waving. There's a cab. Go grab it. On the way home, they necked in the back of the taxi, while the driver pretended not to watch them in the rearview mirror. Jamie was almost inclined to tell Peter that she had been about to put a private detective on his tail. But then she thought he probably wouldn't appreciate it, so she managed to keep her mouth shut. What would you like to do tonight? She asked when they reached their apartment. We have no plans. That's what I like, Peter said with a great big grin. No plans, my kind of evening. We could send out to Chinese, she suggested, or rent a video. Which one? Anything with Brad Pitt. And I'll watch anything with Charlize Theron. Then we'll rent two videos. The order in and ordering tons of Chinese food. I'm starving. You do know we didn't even stop for lunch, right? You wouldn't let us, Peter pointed. You were too busy buying out the store. Jamie waited until Peter was in his den. Then she snuck into her bathroom and called Madison. The answering machine picked up. Cancel the meeting on Monday, will you? I'll call you later. Or phone us when you get this message. Whatever you do, don't mention anything to Peter. Madison arrived home an hour later and picked up Jamie's message. God damn it! Why had she volunteered to get involved in the first place? Jamie was like a yo-yo, up and down. One moment Peter was cheating, and the next moment he wasn't. Who give a shit? Her life was falling to pieces, and all Jamie cared about was canceling some appointment with a private detective. Glamour Slammer greeted her as though she had been away for a year. She sat on the floor next to him and rubbed his back. He immediately turned onto his side, legs akimbo, waiting for her to scratch his stomach. His favorite thing in the whole wide world. "You're a funny old dog, aren't you?" she said. Why hadn't Michael told her the truth when she was young? Why had he forced Stella to live a lie? Memories of the woman she had thought was her mother kept flipping through her mind. Her first encounter with a boy, Stella hadn't wanted to discuss it. Her first bra, Stella had sent her out with the maid to buy one at Bloomingdale's. Her first crush when she was 12, Stella had been totally uninterested. Now it became clear why she had had no real closeness with her mother. It was because Stella was not her mother, had no desire to be her mother, was probably jealous of Gloria, and hated the connection. Then there was Michael, so handsome and charming, always overcompensating, always ready to listen to anything she had to say and be on her side. Now she knew why. Guilt. Pure guilt. She kept on going over the things he had said. They shot her. Who were they? And why would anybody want to shoot Gloria? Michael had said he was involved in something that wasn't so legitimate. What could that possibly be? Did he have some secrets she didn't know about? Obviously, and obviously he was pretty good at keeping them, since since she had never suspected any of this. It was all a terrible shock. Having an analytical mind was a help. She grabbed a yellow legal pen and paper and started making a list of the questions she planned to ask him. Were he and Gloria ever married? Did she have relatives? Were the people who shot her ever caught, prosecuted? And if not, why? Oh, geez. There was so much she needed to know. This was almost like preparing for an interview, only this interview would be the most important one she had ever conducted. She decided that when Michael called, she'd ask him to come by her apartment. When he arrived, she'd sit him down and very calmly find out everything. Full disclosure, no more secrets. The truth would set her free. Only then would she be able to get on with her life. Hey, boo! Lord Jesus, people. Lord Jesus, people. Hey, boo, how you doing? I see you. Mwah. I see you, sugar. I don't know, somebody I forgot to temper my words them now in the chat to them. I forgot to temper my words. You're good. Good to see you. Did you have a good day? Wonderful. Wonderful. It's always a good day when you're vertical. Oh, you just came back. Wonderful. Wow, you went on vacation. Oh, like 10 minutes ago you came back. Oh, wow. Did you bring anything back for me? Did you bring back anything for me? I bet you didn't bring me back anything. Rocks from the beach? What am I supposed to be doing with rocks? Like, seriously? No rocks. If you brought back the beach, that would be fun, but not the rocks. I don't want no rocks. What me I do? Souvenir. I don't want no rock for no souvenir. The rock them can't stay up on the beach. That's souvenir enough. Make them stay up on the beach so me can't see them and everybody else can see them. But how do you bring the beach? That was just a great exaggeration there, my love. Yeah, but I'm gonna continue reading. I had to pause a little bit there by my friends to talk to my baby. All right, so no say no when me I read, you know. Cause you know see me dying trial, you know. Me I forgot temper the words them because you see who in the chat. But anyway, let us continue, guys. Let us continue. Let us continue. Chaz's latest girlfriend's professional name was Warumba. Varumba. Let's do that. Let's start over again. Chaz's latest girlfriend's professional name was Varumba. She had called herself that because of the amazing contortions she was able to perform with her outrageous bosom. A big, buxom, girly girl with a squeaky voice and cheerful disposition, she was Chaz's preferred type. Love you too, precious. Love you. We'll talk later. Yes, I had a great day, my love. I was at work and then I came home and, I'm doing this, having fun doing this. Okay? Love you, precious. We'll talk later. Yes, God. That's what she said she named. Varumba. Varoomba. Varumba. Let's start over. Chapter 10 of this book here. Chaz's latest girlfriend's professional name was Varumba. She had called herself that because of the amazing contortions she was able to perform with her outrageous bosom. A big, buxom, girly girl with a squeaky voice and cheerful disposition, she was Chaz's preferred type. That afternoon, he had sent her to Bloomingdale's to buy a respectable dress, not a tits and ass number. He had warned her sternly. Something that covers the goods. And while you are there, pick out a bra that squashes everything down. What's the matter? She had said, blinking her heavily mascaraed eyes. You think I'm gonna disgrace you? Nah, but I can't let my kids know I'm dating a stripper. Something's wrong with being a stripper? She squeaked. It don't sit well with them, Chaz had growled. Not with my daughters. And another thing, you had better be nice to them, 'cause they're very, very special girls. How old are they? Varumba asked, expecting him to say something like 10 and 12. Older than you, he had said. Varumba was smart enough to know that they would probably hate her. Most women did, especially when they found out she was dating their father. Chad was busy trying to figure out how he was going to explain to Venice and Rosarita that his date was only 23. If anybody asked, he had warned Varumba, tell him you are 30. 30? She had shrieked in horror. You want my career to be over? Nobody's going to know who you are, he had said. We'll tell him you are a friend of mine, a nurse. A nurse? She had repeated in shock. You think I look like a nurse? If you wash off some of that goddamn makeup and drop the beehive, it don't suit you anyway. What am I? Auditioning? What am I? Auditioning for a soap opera? She had said. Quit put out. Just quit. Behave yourself, okay? If you behave, you got a shot at staying around. And if you don't, well, you know what you can do. Thanks a lot, she had said huffily. You are one big bossy man. Yeah, anything like it, he had said, grabbing a handful of her nicely rounded ass. Oh my gosh. Man, I'm a call nicely rounded ass. Me say, 10 story in a one. Me not call people name on the internet, you know. I look and I don't judge. Me say, me say, me say, me there on the internet. I scroll and mind me one little black business. I me see what me see what woman on the internet. I show off her body. Where should this go get done? Me say, me don't know what the me don't know what the people that left them body alone. The woman got do her body. No man body fear my body come down. But you me not call people name body. Me say, ay Jesus. Me say the woman I show the people them. I laugh till a week. Me say, that's how many of this schools. Schools. Oh my goodness. Me say no man show off her body where she gonna get done recently. Me say my body her body come down. I laughed till a week. No sir. No sir. You me not call people name. Miss Kids. Wanna make me laugh till me cry. Aye, sir. I tell you, Miss Kids, girl, you missed the reading of what Rosa Rita. What Rosa Rita? You say you don't have no clue what me I laugh but you laugh. Girl, we are reading the book that we were reading last night, and the guy here, Chaz is with the stripper lady. You know, she have fake boobs and all these things. And as I'm reading it, my mind went back to one. As I'm reading it about the woman with the fake boobs and him talking about he grab her ass, I I remember seeing one video come across me page last night with one woman a show off her body. She a show people in her body where she just go get them. I don't know where she go. Me don't know where she go get this a discount body do. Me don't know where she go. Let me tell you, say, enough more than people are going there and eat the knife, you know, because me don't want to love nobody. Me say the woman, me don't know where she go get this a discount body do over here. So me say the woman body, your body come down. Me have said to myself, say, when someone go get back her no, so man, go get back your money. It's not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. I never see a body done so it's not ready yet. Everybody look like say a counterfeit money she used before. No, sir. Me say me laugh till me weep. Me say no, sir. Oh boy. So as me I read this now, it come to my mind. Somebody see the woman that show and she confident to you see her. She confident. She confident about her body so till me say no, sir. Me say these people don't need to stop from don't need to stop it. Yeah, me tell you no. Don't accept nobody the way it is. Accept nobody the way it is and stop go on the knife and a risk on a life. If you go make doctor cut out your son, cut out this so. Alright? Wanna keep it up. Enough boy now, I'm not gonna sleep under the knife. Cause I don't know learn for year. You have any years to hear, let them hear. And if you don't hear, you will feel. Alright, let me continue reading. Now when me did there, me had to forget when me did there. Me forget when me did there. But anyway, let's catch it. Let's catch it. So let's catch it somewhere. Behave yourself, okay? If you behave, you got a shot at staying around. And if you don't, well, you know what you can do. That's a lot, she said huftily. You're one big bossy man. Yeah, anything like it, don't you? He said, grabbing a handful of her nicely rounded ass. I like you, Chaz, she had answered coyly. I'd be good for you. I could be a mommy to your little girls. Didn't I tell you? He said, irritated. You're a couple of years younger than my youngest daughter. No, I'm not, she'd say, widening her eyes. I'm 30. One thing about Varumba, she was a quick study. Where's the another motive to read the Bible? I just see a motive I'm gonna use read the Bible tomorrow morning. This I can't with you. This CMO, I'm gonna use read the Bible tomorrow morning. The CMO was a bless, it's a curse. Love me. Okay? Just make sure that tomorrow morning you're ready to listen. me no, me must say, me no call nobody name, me no. Me just say. I just said what I saw. Okay? Let us continue. Venice arrived first. Charles had named her for the romantic city in Italy where she had been conceived. Not exceptionally pretty, Venice had a look. Long, straight brown hair, nice eyes, nose slightly too long, lips too thin, but her husband, Eddie, thought she was a babe, and that's all that mattered. Whereas Rosa Rita had changed everything about herself with plastic surgery, Venice was totally natural. She kissed her father on both cheeks. Are we the first to arrive? She asked. Yeah, sure. You sure are, kiddo. So come inside and meet my friend. Friend? Venice said teasingly. Don't you mean girlfriend, Daddy? It's this nurse I've been seeing, Chaz explained. You are gonna get it in your head that she's a bit younger than me. Forget it. She's older than she appears, so don't be shocked. Daddy, I would never criticize anyone you are seeing, Venice said. I've told you before, if this woman makes you happy, that's all that matters to me. Eddie, a nondescript looking man, hovered in the background. Chaz shook his son-in-law's hand, and they all entered the living room, where Varumba rechristened Alice for the night, waiting to greet them. Chaz, Chaz threw a critical eye on her. She managed to squash her huge boobs into a high necked orange dress. If she were smart, she would have chosen black because, to his annoyance, he could spot her nipples straining the orange material. Oh, Lord Jesus. At least she had toned down the makeup. However, in no way, shape, or form did she resemble a nurse. She looked like she was about to appear on the Howard Stern TV show and strip off for one of his bizarre evaluations. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, but then with somebody yet, are you afraid to carry them go through your family? Oh my, may I choke? You ever there with somebody yet, are you afraid to carry them go through your family? Eh? You know, your family go and be critical, then go and have a lot to say. Well, this is what's happening now with Chazam Varumba. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my God. Let us continue. This is my kid Venice, Chaz said. Vinny. Well, I mean if you get some water. Oh, I have another cup, yeah. Oh, nothing in there. It's empty. But let me continue reading. This is my kid Venice, Chaz said. Venice, Varumba repeated in her high, squeaky voice, which irritated Chaz now that he had to listen to it. In bed, he was able to tell her to shut up, and she did. In his living room, he had no such luck. Hi, Venice. What a pretty dress. That color suits you. This immediately put Varumba at ease. She winked at Chaz as if to say, see, I've always charmed one of your daughters. I've already charmed one of your daughters. Rosarita, completely lacking the ability to be on time, arrived 20 minutes later. She marched into her father's house, Dexter behind her, his parents, trailing after them. Mr. Vincent, Martha gushed, pushing her way in front of everyone. What a magnificent home you have. I've never been in a townhouse in New York before. This is such a treat. Oh, for God's sake, calm down, Rosarita thought. Thanks, Chaz said, gesturing to an overstuffed couch. Make yourself comfortable. Name your poison. Rosarita stopped short when she saw her sister. She and Venice were not the best of friends. Rosarita did not care for competition of any kind, and as far as she was concerned, Venice competed for their father's attention, not to mention his money. And it particularly infuriated her that Venice had two brawling brats who would probably inherit plenty. Hello, she said coolly. Nobody mentioned you were coming. Venice was never quite sure why her sister was so hostile towards her, but over the years she had learned to accept it. Eddie had taught her patience. She's probably unhappy about something. He had told his wife when she got upset. Try to be nice and refuse to let her affect you. Cousin, what's up? So that's exactly what Venice did. She smiled at her sister and greeted Dexter with a big hug. To Rosarita's constant irritation, they got along exceptionally well. Not that they saw each other much, but when they did, it was as if they were exactly on the same wavelength. How are you? Dexter said, patting her on the shoulder. I'm fine, Venice replied. And the kids? We haven't seen them lately. You're always welcome to drop by any time. I know, he said. Thing is, I've been so busy working on my soap that I never have time to do anything. I've watched the show. You are terrific in it, Venice said. You think so? He said, very pleased. It would be dull without you, although I must say the character Silver Anderson plays is quite something. Privately, Dexter often thought he had married the wrong sister. Venice was caring. She was the sweet one. A stranger would never believe that she and Rosarita came from the same parents. While Rosarita was busy checking out Varumba, Venice was making sure that Matt and Martha Cockranger were made to feel totally comfortable. What a gorgeous scarf, she said to Martha. Yes, isn't it lovely? Martha said, beaming. Rosarita bought it for me today. She lowered her voice in awe. Do you know it cost $350? I didn't want her to spend her money on it, but she insisted. It's quite beautiful, Venice said. Brings out the blue in your eyes. Thank you, Martha said, sparkling. Rosarita veered back towards Venice. Who the fuck is the tramp with Dad? She hissed. Well, that's Alice. She's a nurse, Venice said. If she's a fucking nurse, then I'm a fucking nuclear scientist, Rosarita muttered. Venice moved away. All during dinner, Rosarita vied for attention with her sister, which did not make for a pleasant evening for the rest of the guests. Every time Venice uttered a word, Rosarita contradicted her. What's the matter with you tonight? Chaz finally said. You gotta be on somebody else. You gotta be on everybody's case. Not everybody's, Rosarito wanted to say. Just that sweet sister of mine who you think is such an angel. But I know the real truth. The only reason she had kids was so she could be sure of getting all your money. Halfway through dinner, oh God, you know, see how sisters can be so disgusting sometimes? Halfway through dinner, Venice began passing around pictures of her two brats, which made Rosarita want to throw up. Our niece, them here, you know? These are her nieces. Are you hear her? She sounds so hateful. Martha studied the photos and oohed and awed in all the right places. What adorable children, she raved. Then she looked straight at Chaz and said, Matt and I are hoping that your little Rosarita will get pregnant next. Chaz chuckled. His little Rosarita? Obviously, they didn't know the real girl. The girl who had come to him demanded that he knock off her husband. Their precious son. Boy, oh boy, would that make interesting dinner conversation. You see that? You see that? She asked her father to help her to get rid of her husband. And look there, her husband and his parents are sitting there having dinner with her father while her father is actively looking for somebody for helping daughter to get rid of her husband. Really? He was angry at Rosarita. Who did she think she was? Some kind of killer? She lived in a fantasy world, and he didn't appreciate it. Dexter seemed perfectly okay to him. Good-looking guy, didn't screw around. He hadn't even eyeballed Varumba's mammoth tits, whereas most men would be drooling by this time. Chaz noticed that Matt Cochranger had already managed a few surreptitious peeks. Geez, the old guy probably hadn't gotten laid in years. Varumba was enjoying herself. She was not used to meeting her men friends' families, and after she had gulped down a couple of glasses of wine, Chaz was having a hard time shutting her up. Any moment, she was likely to hand out cards inviting them all down to the Boom Boom Club for a private performance. Chaz remembered his first look at her. He had walked into a club and there she was, working those giant tits like a mechanic operating a Big Dipper. That was some good memory. We have got to go now, Rosarita said when dinner finally came to an end. Do we have to? Martha pleaded. I'm so enjoying myself. Yes, we have to, Rosarita said through clenched teeth. Tomorrow is Dexter's only day off. He likes to sleep in. If he is planning to sleep late, why do we have to leave early? Venny said incoherently. Rosarita wanted to bitch slap her. Don't you get it? She said nastily. He has to get 12 hours of sleep. So if we go now, he gets it. But if we leave later, he'll only get 8. Dexter looked at her as if she was totally crazy, which, of course, he was beginning to realize she was. How about another 15 minutes? He suggested. How about sticking it up your ass? Fine, she muttered, her mouth tightening. I really want to sit here with my prissy sister, your stupid parents, and daddy's tramp of the week girlfriend. Chaz, who was busy keeping a watchful eye on his 2 daughters, realized once again how different they were. Why couldn't Rosarita be more like Venice? He had already decided that, although he loved them both equally, he had leave the bulk of his money to Venice and her kids because she was the responsible one. If he left it to Rosarita, she'd probably pick up some fortune hunter who would spend it instantly. Venice would make sure it wasn't squandered away. Besides, she'd always take care of Rosarita. In fact, he'd make sure that provision was put in his will. The best thing about his plan was that he wouldn't be around to listen to Rosarita screaming. What are you smiling at, Daddy? Rosarita said, suddenly reverting to her sweet side. Look at Rosarita bipolar or something, which she could put on at will. Just thinking about a thing or two, he said. Varumba grabbed his hand. Your daddy has such a cute smile, she exclaimed. I love it when he laughs. He's so adorable. Rosarita wanted to throw up. This was a big-titted, squeaky-voiced nightmare, and stupid with it. Don't go calling me no names in front of my girls, Chad hissed, highly embarrassed. Sorry, honey bunch, Varumba cooed. So the evening wound to its natural conclusion, and Rosarita and her group went home at the same time as Venice and Eddie. As soon as they were gone, Varumba shook out her mass of red hair, allowing it to fall around her face. Then she unzipped her orange dress, standing before Chaz in a red, white, and blue thong and nippleless bra. How'd I do, babykins? She cooned. Was I the hit of the party? Come here, he said, reaching out to tweak her enormous erect nipples. Come here and put those big bagooses all over me. So she did. Help me, soul. Meanwhile, across town, Joel Blaine was in a boom boom club, complaining to the manager. Where's the broad with the big knockers? How come she's not here on Saturday night? She called in sick, said the manager, a grim-faced man with patent leather hair and a permanent scowl. Sick, my ass, Joel said. I want my money back. I got a nice little Puerto Rican number flew in yesterday. I don't do foreign. How about Texas born and bred? That appeals to you? Big tits? Small but nice. Forget about it, Joel said. I'll come back next week. And Miss Big Rock better be here. If he wanted small tits, he could get them anywhere. Rosarita wasn't exactly stacked. She had informed him they were her own, but he knew they weren't the real thing. He had noticed the scars hidden underneath them. Honey, he had wanted to say to her, if you had him done, why can't you have him done bigger? Really? Instinctively, he knew Rosarita was not the type who took well to criticism. But maybe he'd see how far she'd go for him. Sugar, you got the greatest boobs in the world, he'd tell her, but I like 'em bigger. Here's 20,000. Go get them done again. Was she worth 20,000 bucks? No fucking way. The only woman worth 20,000 bucks in his mind was Madison Castelli. Now there was a real woman. It didn't matter that she wasn't stacked like some freak or stripper. She had what it took in the brains department, and that's what Joel was looking for, a touch of class. Maybe he should do something about her, turn on the charm, launch into pursuit mode, at least call her. Maybe he would, eventually. Thanks, Dexter said. For what? Rosarita said wearily. For being nice to my parents. Ever since we had that talk, you have been pretty damn good. You think so? Yes, I do. He was lying on the bed with his hands behind his head, watching her undress. She was down to black panties and a lacy bra. Come lie down beside me, my love. Let's talk. Rosarita thought. Ever since she had mentioned to him that they never had sex, it had certainly made a difference. Yesterday he'd been quite enthusiastic. Now, tonight, she could see he was once again in the mood. She bounced onto the bed beside him. You want... I can't see what I go say. What me see on the page, I can't read it. Because I think my grandbabies are here. So I can't read it. All right. But I don't know what I mean. She asked him if she can. Okay. Tantalizing him with her tongue, sticking it out and wagging it at him. He hated her vulgarity. Can't we just lie here so I can hold you in my arms? He said, ever the romantic. If you are sure that's all you want, she said, immediately beginning to caress his half erect blank. Within seconds he was fully aroused, which didn't surprise her. It'll only be a second, she said, jumping off the bed and vanishing into the bathroom. Poor thing, she don't even know what she's doing. She's going to use that diaphragm over and over again, and him already tamper with the diaphragm. He counted to 20, and she was back. Once more with feeling, he thought. Once more with feeling, he thought. He had a hunch that tonight was the night he was going to get her pregnant. Slammer was limping and panting and drooling. In fact, he was doing everything possible to attract Madison's attention. His mistress had been tramping across Central Park for 2 hours now, and he had had enough. As a pampered New York City apartment dog, he was anxious to go home. It was hot, and he could do with a drink of water and a lie down. Pulling back on his leash, he looked up at Madison appealingly with his big brown eyes and gave a little whimper. It was as if they communicated without words. Okay, okay, she said with a sigh. I'm taking you home. Had she walked off enough frustration and fury? Had she gotten rid of the demons that were starting to plague her? I'm 29 years old, she thought. I have no man to go home to. I have a father who has lied to me all my life. And I don't have a mother. No, that's wrong. The fact is, I have a dead mother that I never even knew. She had to talk to somebody, get it out of her system before she went crazy. Michael was not the right person. All she had for him were questions, and he had better damn well answer them, because she wasn't taking any more of his evasive shit. She thought about dropping by Jamie's, but since it was Saturday, Peter would be around, and that wouldn't do good at all. Her other best friend, Natalie, was in Los Angeles. That would be a mammoth 2-hour phone conversation, but surely it was worth it, wasn't it? Back at her apartment, she saw that the light on her answering machine was blinking. 3 calls. The first one was from Michael. We have got to talk, he said, sounding tense and not at all like himself. I've checked into Plaza. Won't go back to Connecticut until I've seen you. Call me. The second was from Victor. Got several ideas for your next victim, he boomed. Most of which you'd probably hate. Drop by the office on Monday and we'll discuss it. If you are very good, I'll buy you lunch. And the third message was a voice from her past, Jake Sicker, a guy she had met in Los Angeles when she was there on assignment at the beginning of the year. He was the brother of Natalie's ex-co-anchor Jimmy Sicker. Hi, he said. This is Jake. I'll be in New York for a few days next week, and I'd like it a lot if we could get together. You know, Madison, I think The machine cut off. Damn, she said, thinking about Jake for a moment, which was a welcoming diversion from all the other crap she had churning around in her head. He was an award-winning photographer with a casual attitude. As far as she could recall, he had longish brown hair and laughing brown eyes. He favored old leather jackets and denim shirts, and he had an easygoing, laid-back attitude. She had liked him a lot, but at the time they had met, she had been caught up in a murder case in LA, and he had been involved with a call girl. Quite a convoluted situation. However, she had gotten Victor to use his photos in the magazine, and they had stayed in touch sporadically until he had moved back to Arizona several months ago and they lost contact. Now he was on his way to New York next week. She thought. Jake might be the perfect person to talk to. Someone she hardly knew. Somebody she could pour her heart out to. And he'd listen because he was smart and intelligent. And most of all, he was nice. But how was she supposed to contact him with no phone number? Oh well, that's the way things were going lately. She wasn't surprised. She picked up the phone and called Natalie in LA. Natalie's brother, Cole, answered. Guess who? She said. Don't have to, Cole said. I'd know that sexy voice anywhere. How are you doing, my love? Great, he said. Natalie tells me Natalie tells me you're living with Mr. Mogul. So how come you're there? I drop by occasionally. Big sis is barely talking to me though. Still pissed because of me and Mr. M. We keep on waiting for him to dump me so she can say, I told you so. Natalie did not approve of his current boyfriend, a much older mega businessman whom she had unofficially christened Mr. Mogul. Norland, are you that? Your relationship with this guy has lasted quite some time, hasn't it? I guess. I get why she's worried, Cole said. He's big time. And what do I do? Well, stretch people's muscles for a living. But hey, we're having fun, aren't you? Well, I'm getting by. Coming to LA coming to LA anytime soon? That depends on Victor. If he sends me out on an assignment, I'll be there. What happened to the movie deal on your piece about call girls? Well, two dwarfs later, the studio passed. That's Hollywood, I guess. Anyway, I made a lot of money and met the great Alex Woods. Now that's a character. You gotta come out here again. We'll do the jogging thing. I know how you get off on physical activity. Is that a dig? You got it. They both laughed. Madison was extremely fond of Natalie's little brother. Not so little, actually. He was good looking, 23 years old, with abs of steel and a great smile. Cole made his living working out the bodies of the rich and famous. He was one of the he was one of the most in-demand fitness trainers in LA. Madison remembered how shocked she had been when she had re-encountered him earlier in the year. Instead of the little brother she remembered, the horny teenager who was into rap, gangs, and getting high, Mr. Focus had emerged. Cole was gay, handsome, and as Natalie would say, had his shit together. They all do. Where is Natalie? Madison asked. Probably at the studio, Cole said. That girl is working hard. She's really into her new job. I thought she was fed up with covering showbiz news. That was before she got to anchoring her own show. Wasn't she anchoring the news with Jimmy Sika? This is a much bigger baby. Ask her to call me. I will do. At least hearing from Jake Sika had taken her mind off Michael and his shattering revelations. She contemplated calling her father back, then decided to hell with him. She didn't feel like it. Instead, she went into her bedroom, unplugged her phone, popped a sleeping pill from a bottle of Alcyon David, a bottle. Let's do that again. Instead, she went into her bedroom, unplugged the phone, popped a popped a sleeping pill from a bottle of Alcyon David had left behind, and crawled under the covers with her clothes on. Soon she fell asleep. It is what it is. It is what it is. Unless when we start reading, no one stop, She was awakened the next morning by a hammering on her front door. It took a while for her to open her eyes. She wasn't used to taking any kind of pill, and the halcyon had knocked her out, which she supposed was the whole point. Slammer crouched beside the bed, barking and gazing up at her with his deep, soulful eyes, as much as to say, "How long do you expect me to hold it in?" Slammer is the dog. She reached for the clock, noting it was past 10. Damn! She had passed out big time. She lurched out of bed, becoming aware that she had slept in her clothes. The pounding on her door wasn't about to stop. There was only a pounding in her head to match, but that was probably the effect of the sleeping pill. Christ! Who was it? And why did they go away? She went to the front door. Yes, she said, sounding as unfriendly as possible. It's me, Michael said. Let me in, for Christ's sake. I've been standing out here for 10 minutes. What did he want? To tell her more stuff? Drive her even crazier? She opened the door and he burst past her into the apartment. What the hell's wrong with you? He said angrily. I called 6 times last night and 3 times this morning. Where were you? Asleep, she said coldly, turning her back to him. You don't mind if I sleep, do you? What? He said, un- unused to her sarcasm. I see you 3 times a year, and this time you take me out to brunch and inform me that my mother isn't my mother, that somebody called Gloria is my mother. Well, excuse me, Dad, but I'm confused and upset. So I took a sleeping pill and zoned out. Do you mind? I'm sorry, he said. I'm sorry about this. I never thought it would happen. What were you hoping, Michael? She said coldly. That I wouldn't find out? That one day you and Stella would drop dead and I'd say, Isn't it sad? My parents have died and I'd never known the truth. Was that your plan? She stared at him, full of hurt and frustration. I'm going to be 30 in a few weeks. I mean, I don't get it. When were you going to tell me? When I hit 40? Or 50? He shook his head. I didn't think it was necessary for you to know, he muttered. You should have told me when I was like 7 or 8. She said accusingly. I could have accepted it then and gotten on with my life. He nodded. You are right. Do you have any idea how cold Stella has always been to me? She said, her anger bubbling to the surface. She never cuddled me. We never did the things girls were supposed to do with their mothers. Why do you think I couldn't have cared less when you didn't want me to live at home after college? I was happy to have my own apartment, thrilled to get out. You never told me. What was I going to say? I can't stand my own mother. She's a cold bitch. She might be beautiful and everybody loves her, but I don't like her. How many times do you expect me to say I'm sorry? Hey, listen, I'm sorry for you, she said, her voice rising. It blew up in your face, didn't it? In some sick way, it was quite satisfying to watch him squirm. Michael, who was always in control. Michael, the perfect father, or so she thought. I'm making coffee, she said abruptly. You want a cup? He nodded. She marched into the kitchen and put on the coffee. Then she grabbed Slammer's leash and headed for the door. I'll be back, she said. While I'm out, I'll appreciate you taking a look at the pad on the table. You'll find a list of questions. I expect an answer to all of them. And don't bullshit me, Michael. Don't bullshit me. Because it's about time I know everything. Lord, she I get wassy. What a woman tormented. What a woman tormented. The woman tormented like, whoa. Dexter was already out jogging with Rosa when Rosarita awoke. She laid in bed and stretched, a half smile on her face. Way to go, Dexter. He had pumped her so hard last night that for at least 15 minutes she had forgotten all about Joel. She hadn't known Dexter to be like this since their honeymoon in the Bahamas, which Charles paid for. Maybe having his parents in close proximity made him horny. The trouble with Dexter was that he didn't have any moves. He knew how to pump it, and that was about all. He had no clue how to kiss, never gave head, didn't seem to enjoy it when she obliged him, and his imagination never ventured beyond, you lie there and I'll give it to you good. Emilio, you're late. Ah, gosh, you missed the good stuff. I was wondering where you were. Oh, look, what? Biscuit say, huh? Child. Him not in the exploring business, brother. Just laid here. Oh my God. That's he knew how to pump. That's all he knew. OMG. Yes, Emilia, that's all he knew. Let me read yesterday again. The trouble with Dexter was that he didn't have any moves. He knew how to pump it, and that was about all. He had no clue how to kiss, never gave head, didn't seem to enjoy it when she obliged him, and his imagination never ventured beyond, you lie there, and I'll give it to you good. But still, sometimes a fuck was a fuck was a fuck was a fuck. What? And she had to admit that he was quite a hunk of a man with his handsome face, broad shoulders, and powerful physique. She wondered if Matt and Martha had heard them going at it last night. She had been screaming pretty loud. Her cries of delight had probably given Matt a thrill. Martha, no doubt, slept with earplugs firmly stuffed in her suburban pink ears. Oh well, time to get up. Since Conchita didn't come in on Sundays, she hoped that Dexter or his mom had put the coffee on. Winsome, Winsome, I shake her head. Winsome, you know, ear can't say, if I this a same out, me I gonna use read the Bible tomorrow. This a same out. Can't say, can't say, can't say. God, I can't is a same out me I gonna use read the Bible. But I it's same one. It's same one, sister. Let us continue. And maybe if she smiled sweetly, Martha would fix her a plate of bacon and eggs. Martha was in the living room, leafing through a copy of Cosmopolitan. Have a nice sleep, did you, dear? She asked, putting the magazine down. Rosarita said, stretching. Where's Matt? The boys have gone out jogging together, Martha said. It's so nice to see Dexter, she said, quickly correcting herself, with his daddy. When Dexter was a little boy, Matt used to take him everywhere. Really? Rosarita said, bored already. Did anybody put on the coffee? Shall I do it, dear? Martha suggested, eager to please. Would you? Rosarita said, as if it had only just occurred to her. I was hoping I'd have time for a shower. Yes, certainly, Martha said, obliging as ever. There's eggs and stuff in the fridge if you want to fix something for the boys when they come back. I'm sure they'll be hungry. What a good idea, Martha said, beaming. You don't mind if I use your kitchen, do you? Feel free. The orange juice squeezer is in the side counter, and there's plenty of bread in the bin. I'll get everything ready, Martha said. Then the four of us can sit down and have a nice breakfast together. Sounds good to me, Rosarita said, hurrying back into her bedroom and closing the door. On impulse, she picked up the phone and dialed Joel's private number. His answering machine picked up. Damn, he was probably still asleep. Joel our side man, you know. Joel our side. Baby, you need to go to bed because some of these words in this thing here, you're not supposed to hear. What just Emilia Sam have more moves than Dexter. Dexter don't look like. Dexter not Dextering at all. Him not Dextering. Now have no daps to him name. Yes, what I mean, Emilia. Him not have no daps to him name. Just plain old Dexter. Let's continue. On impulse, she picked up the phone and dialed Joel's private number. His answering machine picked up. Damn, he was probably still asleep. She wondered if Honey Snatch, or whatever his girlfriend's name was, had noticed the mark on his neck. She tried to picture the scene. Joel, how did you get that? I got no clue, babe. Joel, have you been seeing somebody else? No way, babe. I don't believe you. I'm leaving. Rosarita laughed to herself. Then she phoned Chaz. You awake, Daddy? She asked sweetly. What is it now? Chaz said suspiciously. I want to thank you for the dinner last night. It was so kind of you to have Dexter and his parents over. Don't mention it, Chaz said, wary of where she was going with this niceness shit that was so unlike her. Venice looked a little peaky. You think? Eddie doesn't look too good either. Of course, she mused. He was never the most attractive guy in the world. Got a feeling they need a vacation, Chaz said, purposely annoying her. Think I'll send them to Hawaii with the kids. You mean you'll pay? Rosarita said. Quit. Why not? They're my grandkids, for Christ's sake. She quickly changed the subject in the hope that he'd forget about Hawaii. Who was that woman with you last night, Dad? She asked, her tone indicating her disapproval. None of your damn business, Chaz growled. Daddy, she said, reverting to the concerned daughter looking out for her father's welfare role. You shouldn't be with a woman who is so, kind of cheap. What do you mean cheap? He snapped. The broad's expensive. I gotta buy her presents all the time. Oh, Daddy, you are impossible. And you are not? Ever since I was a little girl, you have dated unsuitable women, always the same type, big and brassy looking. What do you see in them? I ain't in a fucking mood for all this crap this morning, Chaz said. So quit with the criticism. I'm merely calling to thank you for dinner. Huh? I'll thank you later, he said, putting down the phone. Rosarita was sure his bad humor was Venice's influence. Every time he saw that stupid sister of hers, it put him in a miserable mood. Let's get to the good stuff. And some of the good stuff passing on Emilio. Rosarita had often tried to figure out what it was about Venice that irritated her so much. Was it that her sister had never had any plastic surgery and still looked good? Was it that Venice was a year younger than her and had managed to have 2 children already? Or was it that Eddie never looked at other women? His eyes hadn't ever strayed towards that big-boobed freak last night, whereas she had noticed Dexter sneak a peek or two, not to mention Matt, sitting there with a drool on his face. At least that proved Dexter had red blood coursing through his veins, which is more than just what which is more than she could say for Eddie, large full of eight, who was definitely a pussy-whipped wimp. She is so full of hatred. Where's some of you really good? More good stuff coming up, man. More good stuff coming up. I hate 'em all, she muttered. Then, just for fun, she tried Joel's number one more time. She is so hateful. Did you do the dirty deed, son? Matt asked. Matt asked with a ribald wink as they jogged side by side through Central Park. Dad, Dexter said, you shouldn't ask me things like that. It's too personal. What's too personal? That you did it or that you didn't do it? Rosarita is my wife, Dad. I know, son. I know. And I heard the screaming last night to prove it. Okay. His father is creepy, don't you think? I think Matt is creepy. Dexter turned his head away, staring out across the trees. He loved his dad, but sometimes Matt was too intrusive with his constant questions. There were certain things in life that were private, and although he had revealed that Rosarita didn't want to have children, and Matt had advised him to play the diaphragm trick on her, he certainly wasn't about to discuss whether they had had sex or not. When your mother was young, Matt began. Dexter held up his hand. I don't want to hear it, Dad. I don't want to hear it. Why not? Matt said. Quick put out. Oh my goodness. Why not, Dad? Why not? It's nothing dirty. Some things should be private between you and Mom. That man ain't have none chilling now. Why is that, son? Because they just should, Dexter said, exasperated. Talking's good, Matt said. Getting everything out of your system. For some people it is. Did you punch holes in her diaphragm like I told you? Dad, Dexter said warningly. Leave me alone. I'd enjoy being a grandfather before I'm too old, Matt grumbled. Tell Rosarita, not me. A pretty girl jogged by, her small breast bouncing up and down in a tight tank top. Matt actually stopped jogging and turned his head to ogle her. He's more than draining, man. The dad is creepy, yes. Jesus, Dexter said. When do your hormones stop? Viagra. Viagra, Matt boasted with a self satisfied smirk. Works like a dream. I take it every night. Only trouble is, your mother's not thrilled. She never really. Please, Dad, Dexter said. Whatever it is, I don't want to hear it. Nice rack on that one, Matt said, still watching the girl as she ran out of sight. Dexter reminded himself to bring earplugs the next time he went jogging with his dad. Back at the house, Martha had put together a virtual feast. She had fixed sausages and bacon, grilled tomatoes and scrambled eggs, and a stack of French toast. The coffee bubbled in the pot, and a jug of freshly squeezed orange juice stood on the table. I can see that Rosarita hasn't been in the kitchen, Dexter said, giving his mother a hug and a kiss. What a kitchen to cook in, Martha exclaimed, her cheeks flushed. Where is Rosarita? Dexter asked, taking a shower. He entered the bedroom and found his wife relaxing in bed, wrapped in a silk Chinese robe and reading Women's Wear Daily. Hi, honey, she said, barely glancing up. I see you conned my mom into fixing everyone breakfast, he said, stripping off his jogging clothes. She insisted, Rosarita replied. Yes, sure, he said, standing before her naked. I'll take a fast shower and meet you in the kitchen. How about I meet you in the shower instead? She suggested, unable to resist his fine physique. Not to mention his perfect. Kuru, kuru, kuru. What you say? Yeah, Dexter is married to Rosarita. Dexter is married to Rosarita. Dexter want kids, but Rosarita don't want any kids. So Dexter's dad, Matt, is telling him to to put holes in her diaphragm so he could surreptitiously get her pregnant. Why not? He thought. If I want to get her pregnant, I'd better be prepared to go at it as many times as it takes. Okay, he said, surprising her. But we'd better be quick. My mother has everything ready. I'm sure Mommy will wait for her baby boy, Rosarita teased, jumping off the bed. And talking of baby boys, quick as a flash, she cupped his balls in the palm of her hand. I'm all sweaty, he said, backing off. Sometimes I like you sweaty, she said, coming after him. I don't, he said, pushing her away. She sighed. It was tough teaching him anything, and the truth was, why bother? He wouldn't be around that long. Let's shower, she said. I'll show you a trick with the shower head. I'll show you. Leave me alone, Emilio. I didn't want to have to say the word. So that's why I'm going to say crow, like the roost. She sighed. It was tough teaching him anything. And the truth was, why bother? He wouldn't be around for long anyway. Let's shower, she said. I'll show you a trick with the shower head that will blow your sweaty balls all the way to heaven and back. The good stuff coming. Sounds like it, right? Sounds like the good stuff is coming. Somehow, Madison got through Sunday. After her long walk, she returned to her apartment to find that Michael had not answered any of her written questions. I can't deal with this writing shit, he said. Ask me anything you want. So she did, and hated sitting next to him, listening to him trying to explain. He rambled on about how special Gloria was, how he had definitely found pictures of her to see, for her to see. But when it came to revealing details about why Gloria had been shot, he immediately began fudging. It was a small gambling debt, he said, stone-faced. That's all. They killed my mother over a small gambling debt? She said, staring at him in disbelief. He nodded a yes and refused to look in her eyes. It must have been bigger than you thought, she said, studying him carefully. Who remembers? It was a long time ago. Jesus, Michael, she said, her voice rising. You are not giving me much information. Aren't I entitled to know? I'm telling you everything I remember, he said sharply. I owed money. They threatened me. I thought I had Gloria protected. And then they shot her. Who is they? Madison asked accusingly. People, he said evasively. What people? She demanded. A gambling syndicate. Run by? Who the fuck knows? Madison was eager for details. Obviously, he wasn't prepared to reveal them. Who else knew the story? She could ask them. Maybe Stella. After all, how her so-called after all, her so-called mother owed her an explanation. Where can I read Stella? She asked abruptly. I have no idea. Now you remember, so Stella ran out on Daddy. Stella run out on Daddy, so Daddy don't know where Stella is. Where can I read Stella? She asked abruptly. I have no idea, he replied, his tone hardening. She called me once, didn't say where she was. If you track her down, I'd like to know. After a couple of hours of getting nowhere, she informed him she was tired and told him to go home. When will you come see me? He said. Where? In Connecticut. You are staying in the house without Stella? I haven't decided yet. I need some more time to digest all of this, she said wearily. You are hardly telling me anything. I don't even know what my mother looks like. She was beautiful like you, Michael said. I'll do my best to find a picture. Instinctively, she knew he wouldn't. After he left, she took Slammer for another marathon through the park. her mind flying in 1,000 different directions. What else was Michael hiding? He had stonewalled her on everything she had asked. She had learned nothing about her mother, just that Gloria was this mysterious 21-year-old girl who had gotten shot, a girl with apparently no relatives, no family at all. Later in the day, Natalie called her back from LA. She wasn't in the mood to confide long distance, especially as she was still getting over the effects of the Alcyon, which had made her groggy and bad tempered. She listened as Natalie carried on about all the celebrations she had recently in all the celebrities she had recently interviewed and what assholes some of them were. Simply 'cause I'm up there in front of the camera, Natalie complained. They think I'm all theirs. But girl, I got news for them. They can take their arrogant little cocks and shove them elsewhere. The important thing is you like what you are doing better than your last job, Madison said. Yeah, I gotta admit that. Then what's good? When are you coming out here again? Natalie asked. I miss you. I'm seeing Victor tomorrow. Maybe one of his brilliant ideas will bring me back to LA. Let's hope it doesn't go down like last time. Yes, that was a nightmare, wasn't it? Remembering Sally T. Turner, the TV blonde who had gotten murdered the evening after Madison had interviewed her. Hey, at least it made fantastic copy. It made fantastic copy, Natalie said cheerfully. You wrote the crap out of it. Did Sally proud. Thanks. So what's going on in your love life? You seeing anybody? Like who? Madison replied sourly. They are all morons. You are in a good mood. Is this your I hate men week? How about you? Madison said, ignoring the crap. No time, Natalie said. I'm working my ass off on the new show. What's your co-anchor like? Oh, he's an older guy who is not thrilled to be working side by side with a black woman, and no way as friendly as Jimmy Seeker. I guess that means he is not lusty. He's not lusting to get into your pants. Right, Natalie said, laughing. He's another married one. Besides, he'd sooner be sitting next to Barbara Walters or Diane Sawyer. Now then, he could lust after me. Okay. I guess you miss working with Jimmy. Oh, yes. He was my favorite married cheater, always on the prowl. His brother Jake called me. No shit. You were kind of into him, weren't you? Only he was busy running after that hooker. Kristen something or the other was her name. Thanks for reminding me. Well, it's the truth. Okay, I'll call you in a couple of days, Madison said. Hopefully, I'll have some good news about my plans. Believe me, I'm in the mood to get away. Her doorbell rang at 10 o'clock at 10 o'clock the next morning. Damn, she said, almost tripping over Slammer on her way to peer through the peephole. An exceptionally tall person stood in the hall. She opened the door. Good morning, the tall person said. I'm Kim Florian. We have an appointment. Slammer went into another mood, growling viciously. Madison dragged him away by his collar. Kim Florian was a broad-faced Native American woman dressed in plain khaki slacks, a brown sweatshirt, and running shoes. She wore no makeup, and her jet black hair was plaited in a long braid down her back. She was not fat, merely large boned. Oh, Madison said, realizing that she had been so distracted that she had forgotten to cancel the appointment. Remember, she made the appointment with that person, the person named Kim Florian. Remember, she made the appointment. Forget, forget the private investigator. Okay. Oh, Madison said, realizing that she had been so distracted that she had forgotten to cancel the appointment. I'm so sorry. I meant to call you. Is there a problem? Kim asked, standing there. I'm imposing an imposing presence. My friend changed her mind, Madison said, thinking that Kim Florian looked less like a private detective than anyone she could have imagined. She did? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's not your fault. Feeling guilty that Kim had made the trip for nothing, Madison invited her in. Can I offer you coffee? Orange juice or something? She said. Water will be fine, Kim said, entering the apartment. You don't look like a private detective, Madison remarked. No? Kim answered, with the glimmer of an amused smile. What's a private detective supposed to look like? I don't know, Madison said vaguely. Don Johnson or something. I'll see if I can summon up some of that stubble, Kim said dryly, sitting on the couch. The good thing about me is that nobody ever suspects I'm watching them. That works, Madison said, fetching a bottle of Evian water from the kitchen and handing it to the tall woman. Tell me about your friend, Kim said. Well, she was suspicious of her husband for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Then she realized she was making a mistake. Women never make mistakes, Kim said knowledgeably. Instinct is everything. The first time a woman suspects her husband is screwing around, she's right. How do you know that? 150 cases later, I should know. Your friend will require my services. Maybe not now or next week, but she'll definitely be calling me again. You seem pretty sure. I'll give her a test to do. What test? Madison said, humoring the woman. Have her go to his wallet. Take a look to see if he keeps a condom in it. Most men do, you know. Not married men. You'd be surprised. Okay. She goes to his wallet, and to her amazement, she discovers a condom. What then? She marks the corner of the packet with a small dot. Then a week later, she checks out his wallet again to see if the same packet is still there. What will that prove? If there's no dot, it's a new packet. And if he's not using condoms with her, that seems awfully simple. It's the simple things that trip him up, you know, Kim said, with a knowing nod. Really? Madison said. And then she had a brilliant idea. Do you track people down? She asked. Look into their past, can you go back like 29 years and find out about someone? Certainly, Kim said. There's a man and a woman I'd like you to investigate. Give me their names and all the information you have on them. It's not much. The woman's name was Gloria Delgado. She was involved with a man named Michael Castelli. Apparently, she was murdered, shot. Isn't Castelli your name? Yes, it is. Is Michael a relative? Well, he's my father. Kim looked at her shrewdly. You want me to find out about your father? Yes, I want to know everything about him because I have this horrible feeling that I don't know him at all. I can take care of it for you, Kim said. But you should be aware that if he is not giving you the information you need, you might not like what I discover. Okay. There was something reassuring about Kim. She was strong and sympathetic, yet at the same time, she exuded confidence. Madison had faith in her. I know, she said. Go ahead and find out everything you can. By the time Madison arrived at the office, it was past noon. Victor greeted her with a hearty pat on the back. I have exactly two things to say to you, he said, his voice louder than ever. And you, young lady, will like both of them. Don't call me young lady, she said irritably. Why? It's patronizing. Well, so sorry, he huffed. Not sorry at all. Run it by me, she said, all business. You have never interviewed a boxer, have you? No. There's a big fight coming up in Vegas. Antonio, Antonio the Panther Lopez versus the champ, Bull Ali Jackson. I think the Panther is fascinating subject. That's because you're a guy. What about our female readers? You'll get into the personal aspect of his life, the same as you always do. You know, his women, his clothes, his social activities. Is he married? No. He has had 3 children with 3 different women, and he's only 23. Is that interesting enough for you? The fight is in Vegas in 6 weeks. You'll be ringside. Ringside, she said. Who wants to watch 2 assholes beat the crap out of each other? You do. It'll be exciting. Sometimes, sometimes you are such a guy, Victor. Do you really think that's what excites women? I know what excites women, Victor said. A new mink coat every winter. It certainly turns Evelyn on. Haven't you told her that wearing fur is politically incorrect? I've told her till I'm speechless. It makes no difference. She still expects me to buy her a new fur coat every year. Well, don't, Madison said sharply. You're supposed to be supporting the cause. What would you do if somebody threw a can of paint over her? Victor couldn't help smiling. I'd slip them a reward, he said, chuckling to himself. A big reward. OMG! So you want me to go to Vegas? How do you feel about that? Not too bad. I was hoping to get away. Why? Just because. You look tired, Victor said, peering at her. Is everything all right? Why wouldn't it be? Another long, lonely weekend? I do not have long, lonely weekends, she said, sounding irritated. First of all, I have tons of friends. And secondly, I have a dog. Just because I'm not with a guy doesn't mean I don't have fun. You miss David? Fuck David. Yes, you miss him, but I have the answer for you. Can't wait, she said, not at all anxious to hear what it was. We're having a dinner party. Evelyn insists you come. And why is that? Because my dear wife considered herself Manhattan greatness. And she has the perfect man for you. No, Victor, Madison groaned. Not again. I've been through that too many times at your house. Let me see now. The last time the perfect guy was 21 and a nerd. And the time before that, he was like 86. I mean, with all due respect to Evelyn, she has no idea what I'm looking for. In fact, I'm not looking, period. If I trip over it, fine. And if I don't, then I'm perfectly happy with myself. I see, Victor boomed. What is this whole deal about a woman always having to be with a man? You can't turn us down this time, Victor said. It's Evelyn's birthday. Oh, God. I take it it's a yes then. Okay, I'll come. I'll even bring a present. But please, whatever you do, do not try to fix me up. I guess they're trying to set her up on somebody. Come to my office. Let me see what time it is. Jesus. I'm going to read till 10 o'clock. Come to my office, Joel suggested. Be here around 12:45. Rosarita didn't need answering twice. It was Tuesday, and she had spent far too much time with her in-laws, although there had been a slight diversion. Dexter getting into sex again was a mild bonus. Chaz didn't Chaz hadn't said a thing about her request that he get rid of her husband. Was it such a terrible thing to do? If Dexter planned on screwing up her life, he had to be gotten rid of. There was no choice. However, on the other hand, if he cooperated and gave her a divorce with no problems, perhaps she'd allow him to stay of execution. Like, somebody can be so cold. At the same man, this so she a jump in a bed with her something, you know? And it's the same man that she still having her mind that she wants to get rid of. Boy, me I tell you, talk about sleeping with the devil, sleeping with the enemy. Should he be difficult? She had alternative plans. If Charles wouldn't get with the program, she'd be forced to hire a professional. A grim thought, but she'd definitely do it. No way would she allow herself to be trapped, tied to a clingy, unsatisfactory husband who wouldn't let her go. She had never been to Joel's office. Situated in the Blaine building, a magnificent, shimmering tower of glass and concrete owned by his father, Joel had confided he was all set to take over the business. Leon's ready to retire, he had informed her. So I'm the man. Rosa Ritter was surprised to discover that Joel's office was on the 35th floor, because according to what she had found out, the place to be was on the 36th floor, where Leon Blaine kept his suite of personal offices. Joel's assistant, Joelle, a skinny black girl with 4-inch talon-like nails painted green, a massive amount of cornrowed hair, and a belligerent attitude, was sitting behind a pale wooded conception desk. Conception. Conception. I can't that they mean for that. Conception desk? Must be a reception desk, but I don't know. Them's a conception desks. Anyway. Yes, she said in an unfriendly fashion as Rosa Ritter approached. I'm here to see Mr. Joel Blaine, Rosa Ritter said haughtily. And who might you be? Mr. Blaine is expecting me, Rosa Ritter said. Then I guess you gotta have a name, Joel countered. They locked eyeballs. Tell him Rosa Ritter. Rosa Ritter is here, she said through clenched teeth, realizing, and not for the first time, that she had been stuck with a Mexican hooker's name because she had been conceived while her parents were lolling on the beaches of Puerto Vallarta. Rosa Ritter? Yes, Rosa Ritter, Joel repeated, giving her name an evil twist. I'll tell him. Take a seat, honey. Honey? Now Rosa Ritter was seriously pissed off. She sat down in the reception area, picked up a copy of People magazine, and stared mindlessly at a picture of a half-naked Brad Pitt. The girl with the green nails was now on the phone. A personal call. She was whispering and snickering, completely ignoring Rosa Ritter's presence. After 10 minutes of this crap, Rosa Ritter got up and approached the desk. Does Mr. Blaine know I'm waiting? She demanded in a shrill voice. Oh, Joel said, completely unconcerned. He was on the phone when you got here. I'll check to see if he's free now. She buzzed him and said in a far too familiar fashion, Joel, some lady named Rosa Ritter is waiting out here. You want I should send her in? A pause. Okay, she said, giving Rosa Ritter a long, insolent smirk. You can go in now, ma'am. Rosa Ritter marched into Joel's office and was somewhat taken aback to find it was not the expansive suite of rooms she had imagined. It was nice enough, with leather furniture and a big window overlooking the Avenue of the Americas, but it was hardly the luxury she had expected. Joel was sitting behind his desk, wearing a pink cashmere sweater and a welcoming smile. Hi, baby, he said. Come on in and close the door behind you. She did as he asked. He stood up from behind the desk, walked around the side of it, and came towards her. From the waist down, he was totally barrassed naked. Bare, bare. Let me I read foolishness. But me I say nonsense. Because I cannot believe it. Them couldn't put the beer and the ass as two separate words. Like hyphenate them. He was totally bare-assed naked. Joel! She shrieked, half shocked and half amused. I noticed you are pleased to see me. Thought I'd put a smile on your face, he said, grinning. She couldn't help she couldn't help herself. She couldn't keep her eyes off of his. It gave big a whole new meaning, rich and well hung. What more could a girl ask for? You're a rude boy, she scolded, rude and crude. And you get off on it, don't you, baby? He leered. She glanced at the large expanse of windows behind him. They were overlooked by another office building across the street. Naturally, his window blinds were open. This immediately excited her. She knew there must be people watching, which is exactly the way he wanted it. How was your weekend? She asked. Like, really? Pretty laid back, he said, casually touching himself. What did you do? She asked, taking a deep breath. What didn't I do? Instinct warned her not to question him any further. Why don't you get on your knees and give me. Why don't you get on your knees and give me one of your specials? He suggested, planting himself in front of her. Shouldn't we lock the door? She said, knowing full well what his answer would be. What for? Nobody's going to come in unless they knock. He turned slightly so that his profile was in direct line with the window. Rosarita got down on her knees, feeling naughty and dirty and incredibly turned on. He put his hands behind his head, shoving his Johnson in without so much as she she attempted to grab his magnificent 8 plus. No hands, he commanded. Only your baby. Don't tell me to read all of it. Just read between the lines. Shauna Manizabadiza? Sean, what's up? How you doing? A surge of excitement coursed through her veins. Come on, he urged. Do me the way you know I like it, she said. And so she did. Oh my gosh, these are the books me read in silence, people, by myself. I'm not supposed to read them book here out loud. Right, Shana Manizel? After he had climaxed, she waited for him to reciprocate. He didn't. He strolled back behind his desk, picked up his pants, and put them on. What about me? She demanded. Getting off her knees. Oh my word. Come back tomorrow, he said casually. What does some of my bitch? He said, come back tomorrow, he said casually. I'm gonna spread you on the desk and eat you like I haven't had food in a week. She felt shudders of anticipation. Okay, baby, he said, dismissing her with a wave of his hand. I got business to conduct. I got business to conduct, so come back tomorrow. That's what your ass gets. Stay home with your husband. Excuse me. That's what your ass deserve. Stay home with your husband. That sounds shameful. Imagine. I can imagine her doing that walk of shame. The man put on him pants. Go on me a business for conduct. We see you tomorrow. Oh my God. She deserved it. I don't think that she deserved it. She deserved it because she have her husband and her yacht. She don't her. Anyway, let's continue. Tonight, it'll make me laugh till I cry. All right. Let us continue. Ah. She felt shudders of anticipation. Okay, baby, he said, dismissing her with a wave of his hand. I got business to conduct. Same time tomorrow. Rosa Ritter had never been treated in such an offhanded fashion. She had never been treated in such an offhanded fashion. It was unbelievably exciting. Exciting. The girl at reception gave her a knowing look as she retreated from his office. Damn, she had forgotten to complain about her. No hurry, she'd do that tomorrow. Across town, Dexter was having coffee with the star of Dark Days. Silver Anderson, a magnificent 60-something-year-old woman who had ruled television for the last 20 years. Martha and Matt were also at the table, both of them completely in awe of the fabulous Silver. And so you see, darlings, Silver said in her exaggerated pseudo-British accent, I adore this business, and this business adores me. And when I get to work with young, upcoming actors like your son, it is pure pleasure. Observe the boy. Isn't he a divine specimen of manhood? Dexter looked suitably modest. He certainly is, Martha agreed, eyes shining. Matt didn't say a word. He was mesmerized by this incredible woman, thinking back to the days when she was a huge movie star and he was 14 years old, sitting in the back row of the local movie theater, jacking off over her image on the big screen. Silver Anderson hadn't changed much. She was still magnificent. After coffee, Dexter put his parents in a cab and sent them back to the apartment. Then he returned to the set. Silver was in her dressing room. Thanks for doing that, he said, popping his head around her door. Dexter, darling, she drawled. Any friend of yours is a friend of mine. You don't know what a thrill it was for them to meet you, especially when you agreed to have pictures taken with them. Your father is adorable, Silver said, peering at her reflection in her dressing table's mirror. By the way, Dexter, where's that wife of yours? How come she never visits the set? Rosarita is always busy, he said quickly. Does she work? No, she has other stuff to do. What stuff? You know, he said vaguely, hair and nails and waxing. Silver gave a throaty laugh. She sounds like a Hollywood wife. I'm trying to knock her up, he confessed. Good idea, Silver said, still studying her reflection. Barefoot and slaving in the kitchen. In the kitchen, that's the way to keep a woman under control, especially she's out there spending your money. Fortunately, she's got a rich dad, he revealed. The worst kind of girls. Silver sighed, picking up a brush. Always running to daddy with their problems. It so undermines your authority. Authority? Dexter liked that. He was Rosarita's husband. He had authority. And the next time she brought up the subject of divorce, he was damn well going to hit her over the head with all the authority he could muster. Ah, that is that is how much reading we're gonna do. I said I was gonna read until 10. All right, we have time for one more chapter. One more. This is getting good. This is getting good. And then book I'm later at night time and read, when I lay down by myself, I just read them book here and then drop asleep. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me read the last chapter here before I go get my act together for the night. The next few days passed quickly, which pleased Madison because she had no desire to sit around thinking about all the things she had learned. After her meeting with Victor, she immediately got into researching Antonio the Panther Lopez, only 23 and a real comer. He had never lost a match. Now he was all set to fight the champion in Vegas. It seemed he was quite a character, with an extremely colorful past for one so young. Sitting in front of her computer, She decided it would be good for her to get out of town. Vegas was a crazy place. She hadn't been there in a couple of years, so it would be interesting to see how it had changed. Wednesday night, she had dinner with Jamie, Peter, and Anton. They went to their favorite Chinese restaurant and ordered everything on the menu. Anton was full of apologies. My dear, he had said, waving his arms in the air, I would never put Joel Blaine next to you at a dinner party. I would never invite Joel Blaine to a dinner party. It was Leon I invited. Joel simply took his place. I should have guessed, she said, taking a bite of her second duck pancake. So she feel like, oh, that song they go again. Tired and the boring, want some excitement. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Let us continue, okay, with her duck pancakes. Don't think I didn't phone his executive assistants to complain the next day, Anton said fussily. That boy is a joke, trading on his father's name whenever he can. Don't worry about it, she said, reaching for a honey-coated spare rib. I survived. You always do, Jamie interjected. If you are in the game, you gotta learn to play it, Madison said, grinning. That's what I admire about you. That's what I admire about you, dear, Anton said. You do not hold a grudge. Halfway through the meal, Jamie got up to go to the ladies' room. Madison accompanied her. Guess what? Madison said, when they reached the sanctuary of the small room. What? Jamie said. I forgot to cancel your detective. She turned up Monday morning. My detective? Well, you were the one who wanted Peter followed, right? Shh, Jamie said. Shush for what? There's nobody in here. You never know who is lurking. This is not Ally McBeal. Okay, okay, Jamie said. It's all my fault. So I'll pay. How much is it? Who is worried about the money? Madison said. As it turns out, she was an extremely interesting woman, a Native American. Oh, yes. And there's something she said you should do. What? Said Jamie, staring in the mirror while applying a pale pink gloss to her luscious lips. Check out Peter's wallet. Sheafy's got a condom stashed there. Jamie burst out laughing. Why would Peter be carrying a condom in his wallet? If everything's cool, he won't be, Madison said. Only Kim seems to think that once a wife suspects that nagging inner voice is never wrong. Charming, Jamie exclaimed. I can assure you I was wrong. Peter has never been more loving. So nothing lost if you took a look. And when am I supposed to do it? Put a tiny mark on the corner of the package. Then look again in a week and see if the mark's still there. If it isn't, and there's a new condom there, then you'll know he's cheating. What a scam, Jamie scoffed. And complicated, too. I think it's quite clever. We don't use condoms, Jamie pointed out. All the better. This is, if he's doing anything, you have got him busted. What can he say? That he was carrying it for a friend? This is ridiculous, Jamie said, brushing her short blonde hair a touch too vigorously. If it's so ridiculous, nothing lost by giving it a try. We'll see, Jamie said, putting her brush back in her purse. By the way, Peter met this guy at work. He swears is exactly right for you. What guy? Madison groaned. A hot guy, Jamie answered, spraying herself, spraying herself with a purse-side atomizer of Angel. I am so fed up with people trying to fix me up, Madison said, frowning. If there's somebody out there who is right for me, I'll find him myself. You are not doing a great job. Well, thanks. Well, it's true. Anyway, Jake Sicker called me. Who is Who's Jake Sicker? That guy I told you about, the one in LA who was lusting after some blonde call girl. You know, the one who was busy getting involved with a total psycho. Sounds like LA to me. What was it? What was it you called your what was it you called your trip? The Magical Mystery Psycho Tour, Madison said, remembering how she had befriended Sally T. Turner, the sexy TV actress, on the plane out to LA, and the next day, Sally had been murdered. Madison had genuinely liked Sally. She had possessed a sweetness and vulnerability that was irresistible to both men and women. The police had eventually caught the killer, who had turned out to be TV talk show host Bo Deacon. Oh, no, somebody hear that story there already? Oh, never hear that story there? But the reporter who had unalived it, I know I heard that story before. Hold on. Hold on. Let me look on my phone for it. Hold on. I'm not you say I've ADHD. I'm not going to allow this to go by. I gotta take a look because I am dead sure I heard a story of that name, Bo Deacon, sounds familiar. Like I've heard the name before. Deacon. Bo Deacon. Let me see if there was any news about some name Bo Deacon. I'm gonna find nothing. I'm gonna see nothing. I'm gonna put Bo Deacon. I think this happened in LA. Oh, I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna find it. Looks like I'm gonna have to do another research, but I could almost swear that I'd heard that name with associate with some kind of murder before. But anyway, let us continue. Pure Hollywood tragedy. What did this Jake guy call and say? Jamie persisted. That he's coming out here this week. Unfortunately, my machine cut off, so I didn't get to hear the end of his message. I hate machines. We're getting voicemail. I'd, I'd missed that blinking red light. You're such an old fashioned girl at heart. Me? So are you going to get together with him? Of course. Good, Jamie said. But that doesn't mean you get out of meeting Peter's friend. I'm not doing it. We'll see, Jamie said, smiling mysteriously. No, we won't see. Peter says you like him a lot. Peter doesn't know my taste. What is your taste? It's been so long, I've forgotten. Madison said thoughtfully. Someone strong and truthful. Oh, yes, and definitely faithful. And he has to have a finely tuned sense of humor, plus a great butt. Hmm? Sounds exactly like Peter's friend, Jamie said, grinning. Bullshit. How do you know that he hasn't got a great butt? They both began to giggle. This reminds me of when we were in college, Madison said. The mainstream of our conversation was, guys, Mr. Guys. Jamie chimed in. Mikey! Mikey, what's up? Yeah, well, we don't do too badly, did we? We didn't do too badly, did we? They were lining up outside the door, and they would have been lining up outside yours if you had let them, Jamie said. No, I scored the nerds, Madison said, grimacing. I was the brain, remember? You also scored a few professors. I seem to recall a certain hunk who taught art history. Did he have the hots for you? Madison smiled reflectively. He seemed so old to us then, didn't he? He was. The man was 40, Madison exclaimed, shaking her head. Which reminds me, I'm going to be 30 in a few weeks. I'm not far behind you, Jamie remarked gloomily. Old, isn't it? Not really, Madison said. 30 is old when you are 20. When you are 30, 40 is old. And I guess when you are 40, 50 is old, and so on. It seems it sure beats the alternative, Jamie said cheerfully. You got that right, Madison agreed. So Jamie said, Are you on for dinner? Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, Madison groaned. Why? Why? You'll have a great time. Says who? Me? Ha ha. Tell you what, Jamie said. Meet this guy, and I'll do the condom thing for you. How is that a deal? Hey, let's get this straight. You are not doing the condom thing for me. You're doing it for yourself. Well, that's true. But, okay, I'll come to dinner. I'll meet the great guy with the perfect butt, and we'll get married and we'll have 6 wonderful children. Does that make you happy? Stranger things have happened. Sure. They returned to the table, still laughing. What do you women do in there? Peter complained. You have been in there an hour. We have not, Jamie said, playfully punching him on the chin. If you must know, if you must know, we were talking about you. Good choice, Peter said. I'll be the first to admit that I'm a fascinating subject. You certainly are, Jamie said, and you love it. And you love it when you know you're being discussed. She nuzzled in next to him, giving him a long, intimate kiss on his earlobe. I find these public displays of affection quite sickening, Anton complained. I know, Madison agreed. You would think they'd have something better to do with their time. We do, Peter said with a dirty laugh. That's why I'm calling for the check. Okay. Back at her apartment, Madison could hear the phone ringing as she unlocked her door. She burst inside the exact moment her machine picked up. Slammer jumped all over her as she grabbed the receiver. Hi, hi, she said breathlessly, thinking it might be Michael or maybe Kim with some information. Gotcha, Jake Sicker said. I was about to hang up. She recognized his voice immediately. How are you? She said happily. I got your message the other day. I wouldn't I would have phoned back, only you didn't leave a number. That's because for the last few months I haven't had a number, he exclaimed. I've been roaming across America. Sounds elusive. You know how it is. I had to kind of find myself. I know exactly how it is. A beat, isn't it? Actually, I'm going through something difficult myself at the moment. Difficult? Nothing to be discussed on the phone, she said. Deciding now was definitely not the time to burden him with her problems. In that case, I'd better take you to dinner or lunch or tea or breakfast. I'm in your city now. What are you up for? Would it be too forward to say she was up for all those things? Let's make it dinner, she said. I'm free tomorrow night. So she feel like tired of the boring thing. Want some excitement. She know what she have the tightest. Uh, 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 uh. Oh my gosh, so am I. Haven't made any other plans. I'm glad. Hey, he said. It'll be really good to hear your voice again. You see, she said softly, feeling ridiculously pleased to hear from him. Where shall we go? Well, your choice, 'cause I'm not familiar with New York. Do you like Chinese? She asked, thinking of the restaurant she had eaten at earlier. My favorite. I'll give you my address and you can pick me up. Sounds good. Where are you staying? Some flea bag hotel near Times Square. You know me, not into the fancy stuff. What's the number? In case I break a leg or something. You are not planning to, are you? No. Glad to hear it, he said, clearing his throat. Hey, I just had a thought. Is that unusual? She teased. How about... Nah, he said, stopping himself short. You wouldn't want to do that. Do what? She asked, a touch too quickly. You must have only just come home, so you have got to be dressed, right? Oh, please, she said. You are not about to ask me what I'm wearing, are you? No, no, he said, laughing. I was thinking, how about, how about if we go out somewhere now and have a drink? Now, she repeated, sounding like an idiot. That's what I said. Well, yeah, why not? She thought. Why not? Great. I'm coming by to get you. She gave him her address and hung up, feeling inexplicably flustered. This was crazy. She hardly knew the guy, and yet her heart was pounding. She must really be starved for decent male company. Racing into the bathroom, she stopped and took a critical look in the mirror. She had on a white shirt, black jeans, and a short black jacket. Jamie was always urging her to be a little more playful with her makeup. So, with Jamie's words in mind, she grabbed the brush and added gloss to her full lips. Then she applied more mascara and loosened her pulled back hair. She had always wished for long, straight hair, instead of which it was wild and curly. But tonight, she had to admit it looked good as she fluffed it out with her fingers. Slammer gazed up at her expectantly, as if to say, So, are we hitting the streets or what? She buzzed down to Calvin, the doorman. Can you walk my dog? She asked. Sure, Miss Castelli, Calvin said. Anything for my favorite tenant. He had a mild crush, which came in useful when she needed anything. Thanks, she said, then nervously rushed back to the bathroom mirror. Mmm, don't like the white shirt. It's too severe, she thought. Grabbing a red cashmere tank from the closet, she put it on. It looked sexy. Do I want to look sexy? Hell yes! Calvin rang her buzzer. He was a short, round-faced man with bright ginger hair and startled eyebrows. She handed over Slammer, who did not seem pleased. You look nice, Miss Castelli, Calvin ventured, giving her a quick look over. I like your hair. Thanks, she said, practically closing the door in his face. Scent. She should put on some scent. A quick squirt of Joe Malone's grapefruit. It used to drive David crazy. Not crazy enough to stay, she thought sourly. His loss. Yes, definitely his loss. No, David was her husband who walked out on her. Sister Arliss, what's up? David should have realized that nobody would love him the way she had, because when she loved, she was totally loyal, and that wasn't easy to come by in a relationship. The red tank looked great, emphasizing her bosom and narrow waist. She added some gold hoop earrings, realizing she hadn't felt this good in a long time. In fact, she hadn't made this much effort to look this good in a very long time. The downstairs buzzer rang. Yes, Calvin, she said into the house phone. There's a gentleman here for you, miss, he said, not sounding very happy about it. Tell him I'll be right down. Jake must have been phoning her from around the corner because it couldn't have been more than 10 minutes since they had spoken. She took one last look in the mirror, grabbed her purse, and hurried out the apartment. The elevator seemed to take forever to reach the lobby. She stood totally still, attempting to compose herself. "Hi, Jake," she'd say. "How nice to see you again. Oh, and by the way, how's that delightful call girl you were lusting after?" "No, no, 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 no. Mustn't sound bitchy. Be cool. Be nice. Hi, Jake. Great to see you again." "Yes, that's it. Cool and friendly." The elevator doors opened. He had his back to her. He was bending over, playing with Slammer. "How nice. He likes dogs." She walked over, casually tapping him on the shoulder. "Hi there, stranger," she said. He stood up and turned around. It was David. Oh my God! It was David. Remember who David is? David, no, her husband walk out on her. We can't read no more tonight. David was her husband. David is her husband who walked out on her. So a David this set up one trick. Oh Jesus, I like them story. So is it that David is pretending to be the guy she had met? David is pretending to be that guy? Oh my goodness. I would be mortified. I'm gonna swear I'm gonna go to prison. Arlies, what's up? Nobody can run them joke there with me. You crazy? Yeah. You walk out for me and you left me. And then because you know me looking me desperate. Me lonely, not desperate. You are gonna trick me. You are gonna trick me. Pretend that you are somebody else for me go to. You must be mad. You must be mad. I slap you with the purse and go right back upstairs. You're rude. Sister Arliss, what's going on, my darling sister? How you been? You come back in the cool. You come back in the cool, sis. Cool supposed to have bust your shut up there. OMG. I'm glad to see you come back. I'm glad you are back. Sister Mikey, Shana Manizzle Madizzle, Emilio, Cod, Sister Kits, and the rest of the people them who come in the chat. Oh my goodness. It is so pleasure. Me get so delighted. Me get so delighted reading them book here, you know. If I'm me alone, you know, me lay down and finish read off this tonight, you know. But me don't want to do that. Me I go finish read if you know too. But tomorrow night, we're not reading a book tomorrow night. We're gonna read tomorrow. We might read tomorrow night. But tomorrow night is going to be New Year's Eve night, right? Well, excuse me, maybe we can read it off. We can read it tomorrow, read some more tomorrow. And then New Year's Day, we finish reading it. Yeah, New Year's Day. we finish. New Year's Day, the day after New Year's. By Friday, we finish read it. Come in like if you have one book I read over for one long old time. Where say, and I love listening to you read. Oh, I thank you, my love. I thank you, sir. Right back in the cold. Minus 13. Jesus, my goodness. Minus 13 degrees. Jesus, mercy. No, sir. Nature needs to do something about this cold, brother. I can't deal with it. Today wasn't too bad. Today when I got out of work, the cold wasn't too bad, to be honest with you. It wasn't too bad when I come out of work this evening. Yeah. I don't know what's going on outside. Inside the house is warm, but I don't know what's going on outside. So, yeah, but I can't deal with the cold. You know, you come out of the warm building and the cold hits you. It's like, yo, jeez and peas and man. I don't like it. But what to do? What to do? We have to take the good with the bad, right? Today was a bit warmer. Yeah, today for real. Because even this morning when I got out, usually in the mornings there is like ice deposits and stuff on the car. And this morning it was only a little bit of dew. I didn't have to throw any water on the windshield to get off any ice, any ice off of it. So that was good. And December is almost finished, so we are look forward to January and February. Some serious cold are gonna start coming in, but we will see. We will survive. We have survived many winters, and we will continue to survive. Okay, and beautiful people. You see how we enjoy the reading tonight. Anybody who did they hear from the beginning of the reading? Except me. Anybody else was here from the beginning? I want to say thanks to you. Thanks to all of you. It rained here last night. You know it's been raining here too the whole weekend. Yeah, there's been a nagging constant rain all weekend. Yeah. But no, it's not raining now. I'm in the mind the rain. I'm in the mind if it turn into rain season and no like it not this cold. I hope we don't get any snow. But we will see. Yeah. But guys, see that it is now after 10 o'clock. Time for me to go get myself together. Yeah, time for me to get myself together, drink a little tea, and call it a night. But before I do that, I want to tell you all thanks to everybody who came into the live. I hope you all enjoyed the reading as much as I enjoyed reading for us. All right. When we come back tomorrow evening, New Year's Eve evening, we will continue with the reading of this book, Lethal Seduction, by Joan Collins. I believe it's by. All right, guys. So once again, thanks to everybody for coming. Shauna Manizzle Badizzle and the others. Thank you all so much for coming. I sincerely appreciate y'all. That's going to be it from me for now, my friends. All right. I will see you all again tomorrow. Have yourselves a good night, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Such a feel like Gateway. Tired of the boring thing. Want some excitement. She know what she got the tightest. I said she honey a fuck one, give it up, draws, I rip up me gun in a cut.